Chapter 301. Half a day later, Shiren finished collecting the soul sand. In front of her, Ning Fan held the Separation Slayer sword upside down and stood upright. Under his command, Stone Warrior led a group of people to slaughter 10,000 li of the sea region. Shiren stopped using the secret technique. Her small face slowly regained its color. She kept the half bag of soul sand and lowered her head, not daring to look at Ning Fan's face. Then, she gently passed the bag to Ning Fan. Soul refining sand. I've collected enough soul refining sand. With this, it's enough to awaken your medicine soul. She did not dare to look at Ning Fan, not because she was afraid but because she was shy. Her heart was still beating wildly. Just now, when she was in despair and was about to die, Ning Fan stood in front of her without any hesitation and blocked the purple stinger of the evil cold goo. At that time, Shiren's heart began to beat wildly and she could not control it. She did not know why. She only knew that she did not dare to look at Ning Fan's eyes anymore. Every time she looked at him, her heart would beat even faster. Thank you for saving me. Shiren's voice was as soft as a mosquito. It was as if she had used up all her thoughts and emotions in that sentence. Immediately, her face turned red and she covered her face with her hands. It was already boiling hot. It's nothing. You helped me collect the soul sand and I promised to protect you. It's just my duty to help you block that attack. Putting aside the fact that the evil cold goo is not worth mentioning, I won't let you get hurt no matter how powerful it is. You don't have to take it to heart. Ning Fan received half a bag of soul refining sand indifferently and kept it in his storage pouch. Then, he comforted Shiren by saying that the evil cold goo was not worth mentioning and that his injuries were very light. However, the truth was that the evil cold goo had almost killed him. The technique of refining goo was similar to talisman techniques. The power of a powerful goo was definitely not weaker than a high-grade talisman. That evil cold goo was very powerful. At least, Ning Fan looked fine on the surface. However, his internal organs were already frozen and his blood and chi were stagnant. The insect stinger was too sharp. It could even easily break the defense of his physical body, which was comparable to the third level. Just like what Chu Feng had said, it was incurable. It was not because it could not be suppressed but because it could not be treated with ordinary medicine. If it wasn't for Ning Fan swallowing that mouthful of blood and forcefully suppressing his injuries, he would have been severely injured. If it wasn't for Ning Fan using the 9 types of heavenly frost and earthly fire to forcefully seal his poison power, his internal organs, immortal veins and sea of consciousness would have been sealed by the cold poison. This goo was very powerful. Because of this, Ning Fan wanted to help Shiren block that attack. Even though he was often cunning and selfish when dealing with matters, this time, it was Shiren who took the initiative to express her goodwill and help Ning Fan greatly. If Ning Fan causes any harm to Shiren, it would damage his Tao heart. A man must do what he said. He had promised to protect her, so he had to make sure that she was unharmed. As for how powerful this goo was, Ning Fan did not want to tell Shiren about it so that she would not feel guilty about it. After hearing Ning Fan claiming that his injuries were not serious, Shiren heaved a sigh of relief. She patted her chest and smiled sweetly. It's good that you're not seriously injured. Please don't let anything happen to you. If you get seriously injured because of me, I'll feel guilty for the rest of my life. However, goo techniques are very obscure and vicious. Even if the injuries on the surface are not serious, there might still be hidden dangers. Let me help you diagnose your immortal veins. Diagnosing a person's pulse was the medical skill of mortals. Diagnosing an immortal vein was something that only pill refinement masters who possessed medicine souls could do. Shiren did not understand her own feelings. She only knew that from the moment Ning Fan stood in front of her and shielded her, her mood had become very strange. When she thought of Ning Fan getting injured because of her, her heart actually felt like it was being torn apart. She did not know why she felt like this. She had never felt this way before. She raised her small hand and mustered her courage to press on Ning Fan's wrist. At this moment, Ning Fan was trying his best to suppress the cold poison in his body. Thus, he did not notice Shi Ran's action. When Ning Fan noticed that Shi Ran's small hand was pressing on his wrist, his expression changed drastically. "Don't touch me." However, it was too late. At the moment when their limbs touched, a dark purple cold force went through Ning Fan's wrist and went into Shi Ran's small hand. Shi Ran's flame was not as strong as Ning Fan's to resist the cold. Her touch was like touching an immemorial profound ice that was produced once every 100,000 years in the profound demon sea. The bone-chilling cold went into her soft fingers like being pricked by needles. It caught Shi Ran off guard and she instinctively screamed in pain. Ah! In just a moment, Shi Ran's small hand was frozen by purple frost. The frost spread from her small hand to her wrist and then to her arm. In an instant, her entire arm was frozen. Shi Ran was dumbfounded. She instinctively screamed in pain after being invaded by the cold poison. However, her first reaction was not fear of pain or cold but guilt. The cold poison that went through Ning Fan's wrist was obviously the poison of the evil cold goo. Just a trace of it was enough to catch him off guard and freeze his arm. A trace of it was enough to freeze her arm. Then, what kind of terrifying cold power would the complete poison have? The current Ning Fan was enduring so much pain from the poison but he did not tell her about it. Was he afraid that she would feel guilty? She could also see that the power of the poison had been greatly stimulated by the touch. The coldness of the evil cold goo was not ordinary cold qi. Therefore, even if Ning Fan's earth fire was powerful, it was still difficult for him to completely resist the poison. Those who were poisoned by the poison had a big taboo, which was to not touch a woman when the poison was activated. After all, women were of the yin attribute and their natures were cold. Once they were touched, the poison would increase tremendously. Shi Ran knew that she was afraid that she had caused trouble again and caused Ning Fan's cold poison to worsen. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." At this moment, she actually forgot that she was also affected by the cold poison due to her carelessness. One of her arms was frozen to the point where she lost all feeling. She only blamed herself. If it wasn't for him protecting her, Ning Fan would not have been injured. If it wasn't for her being too stupid, she would have noticed that Ning Fan was being invaded by the poison. She would not have touched him and caused the poison to worsen. The poison in Ning Fan's body became even more chaotic after being touched by Shi Ran. The consequence of this touch was that his 6 internal organs were completely frozen. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels were already frozen. The next step would be his sea of consciousness and immortal veins. If these two were also frozen, there would be no way to cure the poison. "Why are you apologizing to me? Didn't I tell you that this evil cold poison is just a small matter? You, on the other hand, are in trouble after being invaded by this cold poison. Fortunately, the poison isn't severe and it won't be difficult to cure it." Ning Fan smiled gently. Shi Ran was no longer his enemy and he did not need to show her a cold face anymore. He patted his storage pouch and took out a lot of demon blood that he had obtained from killing demons in the past. He crushed the jade bottles and burned them with corpse fire, turning 10 bottles of demon blood into a dark red blood crystal. This blood crystal has the effect of suppressing the poison. It's my first time seeing this evil cold poison. I don't know the specific method to cure it. However, based on what I felt when I was poisoned, this poison isn't really cold. Instead, it's a kind of chill in the heart. If you want to cure this poison, you have to burn it with blood. It will have a miraculous effect. Your cold poison isn't severe. The blood essence of these thousands of nascent soul realm beasts should be enough to cure your poison. Ning Fan passed the blood crystal to Shi Ran. Shi Ran shook her head guiltily. "I won't eat it." "Hurry up and eat it. It's all because I'm too stupid that I caused your cold poison to worsen. Just eat it. Don't die." When she thought of what Chu Feng said before he died, Shi Ran felt her small hands trembling. Chu Feng said that those who were poisoned by the evil cold poison wouldn't live for more than 3 days. When she saw Ning Fan alive and kicking, she did not believe it at first. Now, however, she believed it. Everyone would die. Her grandfather would die if he couldn't escape the great heavenly tribulation. Her mother would die due to the backlash from concocting pills. Everyone would die. Shiran's heart was in a mess. She did not know why, but when she thought that Ning Fan might die because of the poison, she recalled her grandfather and mother who were the best to her. Don't die. Shiran's eyes were filled with tears. This time, it was not because she was afraid or spoiled. She just could not bear to see Ning Fan die. Even if she did not understand why she would have such a strange feeling. Don't worry. I won't die. Ning Fan looked at Shiran and sighed softly. Once upon a time, he had also made such a promise to a lady. If I won't die, how can I die? I can't die until I kill all my enemies. After eating it, I still need your help to concoct a mid-grade 5th revolution pill to suppress the poison. If your arm is frozen, how are you going to concoct the pill for me? Concoct pills? Can concoction pills suppress the poison? I'll eat it and I'll concoct it. Shiran no longer dared to touch Ning Fan's body. She carefully received the blood crystal and swallowed it. Even if the blood crystal was too smelly and disgusting, she still wanted to eat it. She wanted to save Ning Fan. As the blood crystal dissolved, the poison on Shiran's arm melted. A moment later, she pressed her throat, lay on the ground and vomited. It's too disgusting. I've never eaten something so disgusting before. What pill do you need? I'll concoct it for you. Shiran vowed. There's no hurry. I'll tell you later. The vanguard army of Kun Mo came in a strange manner. It seems like they're coming for the Star Island. As for the evil cold goo that I've received, it's impossible for me not to return it to him. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He was not a person who would let others bully him. Why do people want to become stronger? It's because they don't want to be bullied by others. If one still can't stand up straight after cultivating the Tao, then there's no need to continue cultivating this Tao. Ning Fan was waiting for Stone Warrior and the others to return. An hour later, Stone Warrior and his puppets returned while standing on the gigantic black dragon. Ning Fan did not say much. He just stared at Stone Warrior deeply. When Stone Warrior approached him and handed him Chu Feng's remnant soul, Ning Fan's eyes finally relaxed a little. If you dare to keep this soul for yourself, I won't let you off easily. I dare not. Stone Warrior cupped his fists without saying a word. He led his men to kill 12 Divine Transformation Realm experts and devoured a total of 8 mid-Divine Transformation Realm souls and 3 early Divine Transformation Realm souls. Currently, his chi seemed to be not far away from breaking through to the mid-Divine Transformation Realm. Devouring souls and raising the cultivation base of his puppets could not escape Ning Fan's eyes. However, he did not say much about it. He handed the matter over to Stone Warrior and he would not ask about it. Besides, as long as Stone Warrior did not have any ulterior motives, even if he obtained some benefits from it, Ning Fan could still turn a blind eye to it. Ning Fan could also turn a blind eye to the improvement of his cultivation base. Ning Fan did not expose him and neither did Stone Warrior. However, there was no need to beat around the bush in front of a straightforward person. Ning Fan was already tempted by the technique to raise the cultivation base of his puppets. Even though he knew that his puppets could advance by devouring souls, the specific method was still in Stone Warrior's hands. I want the secret technique to raise your cultivation base. As a reward, I will at least help you advance to the mid-Divine Transformation realm. I also promise you that I will release you the next time I go to the Penglai Immortal Island and hand you over to Bei Xiaoman. I can teach you this technique. Stone Warrior thought for a while and immediately agreed. Even though the puppet ascension technique was a secret technique, many experts in the Northern Heaven could obtain it through establishing a friendly relationship with the Lost World Palace. With Ning Fan's identity, it would not be too difficult for him to obtain this technique after he ascends to the Northern Heaven. If this technique could be used to befriend Ning Fan and ease the relationship between him and the Lost World Palace, it would be the best. Moreover, he would not be able to feel at ease if he does not return to Bei Xiaoman's side. Immediately, Stone Warrior imprinted a jade slip and passed it to Ning Fan. After Ning Fan glanced through the jade slip, he did not say anything and kept it for the time being. However, his eyes were filled with passion. Puppet Ascension Technique. With this technique, as long as I kill enough Divine Transformation Realm beings, I will be able to raise the level of my puppets. In this way, the 10 spiritual puppets that I have and the 10 or so spiritual puppets that old ancestor Dong Su promised me will all have room to improve their strength. In this world, there are too few subordinates that I can trust. Puppets are undoubtedly the subordinates that I can trust the most. After receiving Chu Feng's remnant soul, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. Without showing any mercy, he searched Chu Feng's soul and memory. From Chu Feng's remnant soul, Ning Fan learned about the forces in the Sea of Stars, the secret of the evil cold goo and even the plan of Kun Mo and the others to attack the Star Island to kill him. Devour this soul and you can break through to the mid-divine transformation realm. Ning Fan passed Chu Feng's remnant soul to Stone Warrior after searching his soul. His eyes flashed with unprecedented killing intent. Ever since he left Ning City, even though he was unwilling to be bullied, he had always been extremely restrained in his actions. He did not destroy Great Jin. He did not destroy the external Endless Sea. He also did not destroy any of the 9 divisions of the Lu clan. He was enduring. However, he could no longer do so in the Sea of Stars. If he continued to endure, the 4 sacred demons would gather their forces and besiege the Star Island in the end. Originally, I didn't want to cause trouble in the Sea of Stars. However, since he won't let me go, I won't hesitate to bathe the entire Sea of Stars in blood. There were 3 star gates in the Sea of Stars. This Sea of Stars was divided into 4 seas. There were 4 half-step void refinement realm wild beasts who called themselves the 4 sacred demons. Kun Mo was in the South Sea. Moreover, from Chu Feng's memory, the other 3 sacred demons had originally given up on provoking him. However, this demon was determined to kill him. Evil cold goo. Ridiculous. Do you really think you can take my name with a mere poison? This goo was indeed powerful. It was not an ordinary cold poison which could not be extracted with fire power. However, the power of blood could dissolve this poison. I won't die. I want to cleanse my cold poison with the blood of all the demons in the South Star Sea. Just because my hands are not stained with blood doesn't mean that I won't kill. Ning Fan formed a sword sense with his finger and a ray of sword light shot towards the Star Island. It was none other than the sound transmission flying sword. It only told him to stay in the outside world for a while and asked Wu Yan and the other women to rest and not worry. With Wei Xian's prestige around, the bear demon would not dare to provoke the 3 women. Moreover, he might even give them some gifts to befriend him. I'm going to kill them. Do you want to come with me? Ning Fan looked at Shi-Ran indifferently. If she refuses, he would send 2 spiritual puppets to escort her back. Kill them. When she thought of this terrifying word, Shi-Ran's face turned pale with fright. However, when she thought that Ning Fan's cold poison had not been dispelled yet, she was unwilling to leave. I'm not afraid of killing them. Perhaps. I have to go with you. Ning Fan did not say anything else. His sleeves fluttered and he took out the golden flame chariot. He rolled Shi-Ran up and stood at the front of the chariot. Golden flame chariot. Shi-Ran's eyes sparkled with stars. It was very difficult to ride such a luxurious, high-end, low-profile and elegant vehicle during the era when the heavenly court had collapsed. Shi-Ran could not avoid having a love for a famous vehicle. Ning Fan closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them again, his eyes were as cold as stone. At this moment, he felt like he had returned to the demon sinister forest where he would die if he took a step back. He swore to pierce through the sky. When he first entered the Star Sea, he was ambushed by the demon beasts of the sea region. Killing the demon was just to protect himself. When he was being chased by Kuan-Mo and dozens of wild beasts, if he had been more ruthless at that time and directly killed that demon, he would not be in so much trouble now. Kuan-Mo deserved to be killed. Everyone, get on the carriage. We are going to kill them. Chapter 302. The Guizhong Pass was the outermost line of defense that the Kun demon had set up in the southern Star Ocean. It stretched for 100,000 miles, and there were a large number of sea beasts' nests inside the pass. There were a total of 300,000 core beasts guarding the pass. The surging sea currents that flowed through this place were all neutralized by the power of the formation. Countless sea beasts and war chariots entered and exited the pass, busily organizing their troops, as if preparing for war. In the most heavily guarded part of the pass stood a sea palace. In the palace, the general guarding the pass was drinking and chatting with several desolate generals. 30,000 kilometers away from this pass, a streak of golden light flashed and landed on the seabed. On the golden chariot, Ning Fan remained silent. Looking at the formation light which was filled with dense black qi, his eyes turned solemn. The cold air around his body became even denser. Even the stone warrior and the other early-stage puppets didn't dare to get within 3 feet of him. This cold qi was the cold poison of the evil cold gu. After freezing Ning Fan's 5 viscera and 6 bowels, it showed signs of invading Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. Liu Bei, this is the pill you need. In the golden flame chariot, Shiran's face was covered with dust. She hurriedly walked out of the chariot with a scorching red pill in her hands and carefully handed it to Ning Fan. Middle grade 5th revolution pill. Vermilion bird soul warming pill. The pill recipe was given by Ning Fan. Shiran did not know the exact medicinal effect of the pill. However, the moment Shiran took the pill recipe, she hesitated. Judging from the medicinal ingredients, she knew that this pill didn't have the effect of eradicating the cold poison. The vermilion bird soul warming pill could turn a cultivator's sea of consciousness into flames for a short period of time, giving them a divine ability similar to fire sense and fire sense. However, its power was naturally far inferior to true fire sense. Shiran did not know what Ning Fan needed this pill for. However, she did not ask much about it. Instead, she activated a secret technique that damaged her own body. In just 3 days, she forcefully concocted this pill. Based on her own ability, she would need at least 100 days to refine this pill. Forcefully refining it within 3 days naturally caused great damage to her, and even a trace of the purity of her bloodline was damaged. She was very afraid that Ning Fan would die. Thus, it would be better for her to finish concocting the pills as soon as possible. Before Chu Feng died, he said that those who were poisoned by the evil cold gu would not be able to live for more than 3 days. She was not sure how many days Ning Fan could live. He succeeded in refining it in 3 days. Ning Fan was surprised. However, when he saw Shiran's pale face, he immediately understood that Shiran must have damaged herself greatly in order to concoct this pill. He had only protected her once, yet she was willing to put in so much effort to save him. What a naive girl. You've worked hard, I'm fine. Hurry up and take the pill. Shiran said seriously. Yes. Ning Fan swallowed the vermilion bird soul warming pill. Immediately, a wave of scorching medicinal power entered his immortal meridians, circulated throughout his entire body and finally converged into his sea of consciousness. Within his sword sense, the medicinal energy spread out, causing the small spiritual sense swords to be dyed in flames. The original power of the sword sense carried a trace of firepower. This firepower was used to kill enemies. It was not much stronger than nascent realm spells. However, turning the sea of consciousness into flames had other uses. With a resolute look in his eyes, Ning Fan no longer hesitated and forced all the cold poison in his limbs and bones into his sea of consciousness. This should have been an act of self-harming, but his sea of consciousness was not frozen, because it had already turned into a flame. Why did you bring the gu poison into your sea of consciousness? Could it be that you want to use this parasitic poison to increase the power of your spirit perception? Shi Ran's face was filled with panic. At this moment, she finally understood why Ning Fan asked her to concoct the vermilion bird soul-warming pill. The Gu technique was actually a type of spirit sense attack. To be more precise, it was an attack of the Gu sense. The Gu technique that was specially fed had a shocking amount of Gu sense. That purple thorn that appeared out of nowhere was the strongest Gu sense attack of the evil cold Gu technique. It was equivalent to the total power of a peak spirit-severing realm cultivator's spirit sense. Therefore, the Gu sense was extremely strong. The power of the insect's thorn was shocking. The poison was extremely cold and could not be removed by ordinary means. The poison that was left in Ning Fan's body was not only poison but also the spirit sense power of the evil cold Gu technique. If one could devour the power of the Gu technique, he could improve his spirit sense and turn the harmful poison into a good medicine to improve his spirit sense. However, Shi Ran had never seen anyone refining the poison to improve their spirit sense. If an ordinary cultivator was poisoned by the poison, who would take the risk to refine it? Wouldn't it be lucky to be able to force the poison out of their body? Why are you so reckless? Is the poison something that can be refined by a cultivator? Shi Ran was so anxious that she was about to cry. If she knew that Ning Fan would use such an extreme method to deal with the poison, she would never concoct the vermilion bird soul-warming pill for him. Instead, she would find other methods to concoct other pills to save his life. Perhaps, it would damage his cultivation base and cause his cultivation level to drop. However, as long as Ning Fan's life is preserved, it would be great. Don't worry. Ning Fan gently patted Shi Ran's head, causing her face to immediately turn red. It was her first time being touched by a man. However, she soon realized that after consuming the vermilion bird soul-warming pill and guiding the poison into his sea of consciousness, Ning Fan could actually touch her now. This was something that he could not do before. Has your poison been suppressed? Shi Ran exclaimed in surprise. For now. With the strength of my sword sense and the warmth of the soul-warming pill, this cold poison can forget about freezing my sea of consciousness. If I can completely refine this frost poison insect sense, my divine sense will be greatly enhanced. The corner of Ning Fan's mouth curled into a smile. His principle of doing things was to maximize the benefits of everything. Even if he was poisoned, he would want to leave some benefits behind. Evil cold Gu. As long as he is not poisoned to death, this poison is not a poison but a tonic for his spirit sense. With the help of the sword sense and the soul-warming pill, Ning Fan was able to temporarily suppress the evil cold Gu. As long as he could collect enough demon blood in the shortest time possible, he would be able to detoxify the poison and improve the power of his spirit sense. Without saying anything else, Ning Fan pointed at the golden flame chariot. Immediately, the chariot turned into a ray of golden light and flew across the sea. In just a few moments, it had traveled 30,000 li and appeared in front of Gue Xiong Pass. Outside the Gue Xiong Pass, hundreds of Gold Core Realm sea beasts were shocked when they noticed the golden chariot. The speed of the golden chariot was something that they had never seen in their lives. Moreover, it appeared outside the Gue Xiong Pass without any warning. One of the sea beasts let out a warning roar. The other hundreds of sea beasts surrounded the golden chariot and said coldly, "Halt your steps. Trespassers who are not from the Gue Xiong Pass are committing a serious crime. If you don't retreat within 3 breaths, you will die." The sea beasts were only at the Gold Core realm. They could only see that there were 13 figures on the golden chariot. They could only see that the dragon corpse that pulled the chariot was as huge as a mountain, but they couldn't see through the cultivation of any one of them. Although they didn't know what level of cultivation this person had, they knew that this person wasn't someone to be trifled with. However, no matter how powerful this person was, they weren't afraid. They were the subordinates of the Southern Star Sea's Kuan Devil. Who would dare to cause trouble in the Kuan Devil's territory? There was no need for these sea beasts to be polite to Ning Fan and the others. Ning Fan leaped off the golden carriage and swept across the place with his spirit sense. His late divine transformation realm spirit sense easily penetrated through the defensive grand formation of the Gue Xiong Pass and scanned through the bodies of the gold core realm sea beasts. As soon as his spirit sense swept across them, each of the gold core realm sea beasts was immediately filled with fear. When Ning Fan's spirit sense swept across them, they could clearly feel an irresistible pressure. This pressure was even stronger than the one he felt when facing the main general of Gue Xiong Fortress. What was even more frightening was that the aura of this divine sense was unreservedly exuding a trace of bloody killing intent that was difficult to erase. That dense murderous aura was as if he had just walked through a sea of blood and arrived at the gates of hell. Who are you? With such a strong spirit sense, it's impossible for you to be a nobody in the Star Sea. Ah! At this moment, the sea beasts no longer had the arrogance they had before. Their faces were filled with fear. Each of the gigantic beasts that were the size of a small hill appeared in front of Ning Fan, who was just a frail human. Their auras became dispirited and they felt ashamed of their inferiority. They finally remembered that they should politely ask about the visitor's identity before they chase him out of the pass. However, there was no need for Ning Fan to explain to these beasts that were about to die. Your master is my enemy. Your blood is the best tonic for me to detoxify the poison and improve my spirit sense. Die. As Ning Fan's sword sense swept across, the mere white-headed pill beast was immediately smashed into pieces and turned into minced meat. All of the blood mist was swallowed by Ning Fan. Under the nourishment of the blood essence of a mere white-headed pill beast, the cold poison was immediately weakened by 100,000th. The melted cold poison was immediately devoured by his spirit sense in the form of flames. It actually increased the power of his spirit sense. This slight increase was insignificant, but it made Ning Fan's eyes brighten up. Devouring the poison to improve my spirit sense is feasible. Who dares to commit murder in my Gue Pass? You're courting death. Groups of ferocious beasts that stood on the 10,000 zhang tall walls of the Gue Pass shouted in anger. It was impossible for them to not notice Ning Fan's action of killing 100 pill beasts. After witnessing Ning Fan's strength, how would these beasts dare to attack him? They only dared to stay on the city walls and activate the formation power. Tens of thousands of arrows were shot at Ning Fan. At the same time, they sent a warning to the people inside the pass. Jade-breaking arrow formation. It's actually a peak divine transformation realm formation. The formation power of the arrows is extremely powerful. A single arrow can kill a late gold core realm cultivator, 100 of them can kill a late nascent soul realm cultivator, and 10,000 of them can kill a late divine transformation realm cultivator. Liu Bei, be careful. This arrow formation is very powerful. Shiran was a little worried. She was worried that Ning Fan, who was currently injured, would be injured by the 10,000 arrows. However, her worry was unnecessary. It was because Ning Fan directly grabbed Shiran's slender and soft waist and soared into the sky. I'm going to kill someone. If you're afraid, just close your eyes. He only said one sentence, but when he said it, his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He touched his glabella with one of his fingers. At the next moment, a crystal compass that shone like silver water appeared in his palm. As soon as the compass appeared, a 100 zhang large starlight formation diagram appeared beneath Ning Fan's feet. This formation diagram was simple and profound. After fusing countless ancient formations into it, it gave off traces of heavy and ancient qi. All of a sudden, the star formation shone brightly. Around Ning Fan and Shiran, 30,000 silver lotus lanterns rose. The lanterns were lit up one after another. At this moment, Shiran wore an intoxicated expression because these lanterns were so beautiful. They were even more beautiful than the fireworks. What kind of magic treasure is this? Why haven't I seen Liu Bei use it before? There was no answer. However, when 3,000 lanterns were lit, a silver light screen rose from the 100 zhang formation diagram and blocked the path in front of Ning Fan and Shiran. When the 10,000 arrows that were powerful enough to kill a late divine transformation realm cultivator collided with the silver light screen, they were immediately ignited with silver flames and turned into ashes. On the giant city, each of the sea beasts revealed a shocked expression. What kind of magic treasure is this? Its defense is actually so heaven-defying. The power of the formation light, which was enough to kill a soul formation late-stage cultivator, was so easily blocked. 3,000 star lamps are more than enough to block an attack from a late divine transformation realm expert. But it's not over yet. Reverse. As Ning Fan uttered the word, rebel, 10,000 silver arrows rained down from the star formation. It was exactly the same as the attack from the Ghost Gate formation. This was the magical power of the star-fixing compass. Peerless defense and reverse attacks. Chapter 303. The first compass formed a formation using starlight. The second word reversed, reversing the attack. Shiran was unable to comprehend the profundity of the formation. However, the terror of the star fixation plate made her suck in a deep breath. Looking at the 30,000 lanterns, Shiran's eyes were no longer filled with infatuation. Instead, they were filled with astonishment. The power of the 10,000 arrow rain could kill a late divine transformation realm expert. However, it was blocked by the star fixation plate. 3,000 lanterns could block the attack of a peak divine transformation realm expert. If there are 5,000 lanterns, it could probably block the attack of a half-step void refinement realm expert. If there are 10,000 lanterns, it could even block the attack of a void refinement realm expert. If there are 30,000 lanterns, it could even block the attack of a mid-void refinement realm expert. What a strong defensive magical treasure. However, I wonder how many lanterns he can light up at the most. Shiran curled up her body and hid in Ning Fan's embrace. She did not ask much as she was afraid that her words would distract Ning Fan. She just closed her eyes obediently. She was a little scared because she knew that Ning Fan was going to kill someone. The 10,000 star arrows shot out in reverse and landed on the formation light of the Ghost Pass, producing a deafening sound. However, the formation light did not shatter completely. Countless cracks were formed on it and the formation marks healed immediately. Even so, it was much weaker than before. It still needed a lot of time to restore the formation light. If the formation was able to block the attack of a peak divine transformation realm expert before, its current defensive power could only block the attack of a late divine transformation realm expert. Stop him. Buy some time for the formation to recover its power. Don't let him attack the formation again. You guys guard the gate. My 5 brothers will stop him. The 5 half-step divine transformation realm sea beasts had already transformed into half of their human forms. They came from different directions. After a few teleportations, they had already rushed out of the formation and surrounded Ning Fan. All 5 of them had the appearance of a big-headed boy. However, all of them had fish scales on their bodies. They seemed to be some kind of fish-type demon beast. The chi of the 5 of them was not weak. If they were in the endless outer sea, they would be at the level of the 4 tower lords of the Lost World Palace. Moreover, the 5 of them were proficient in joint attacks. When they joined forces, they could even kill an early divine transformation realm expert. It's the 5 fish demons. Not only are their joint attacks powerful, but they are also proficient in the scales technique. Even the attacks of an ordinary divine transformation realm expert can be deflected by their scales. The appearance of the 5 of them greatly boosted the Ghost Pass's morale. But shortly after, all the excited shouts turned into panic and fear. However, Ning Fan did not even look at the 5 of them. He directly kept the inlaid star compass and took a step forward. With this step, the 5 of them coughed up blood and fell from the sky, their auras weakened. There was no longer any trace of smugness on their faces, only fear. Even though the 5 of them had the strength to travel unhindered in the sea of stars, they could not even get close to Ning Fan. With just a single step, Ning Fan could severely injure them to the point of death. What is his strength? Not an early divine transformation realm cultivator, not even a middle divine transformation realm cultivator. Even a middle divine transformation realm cultivator like General Gue Nu wouldn't be able to heavily injure us with just one step. Ah! Without any unnecessary explanation, Ning Fan took the second step forward. All 5 of them were annihilated by the sword light of the great momentum. He blocked Shi Ran with one hand while his other hand bombarded the Ghost Pass's black formation light with punches like a storm. Break! Due to the distance between them, Ning Fan took 7 steps back while the formation light shattered into light mist with a loud bang. The formation had been broken. After descending on the city tower, Ning Fan released his sword sense. Within 30,000 li, black color spread out. Die! As the sword sense swept across the area, groups of gigantic pill refinement beasts shrieked and died. In an instant, at least 100,000 ferocious beasts died within 30,000 li. It was close to 1/3 of the Ghost Pass's strength. As for those nascent soul realm beasts, even though they did not die under the sword sense, they were severely injured. They were already terrified. Sword sense. This is bad. Someone is breaking through the formation. Quickly report to General Gui Nu. It was too sudden. No one expected that Ning Fan would actually break through the Ghost Pass's grand formation with a single punch. If they knew that Ning Fan had the ability to break through the formation, they would have gathered 100,000 pill refinement beasts into a formation. Naturally, they would not be afraid of the sword sense attack of a gold core realm cultivator. Ning Fan clenched his 5 fingers. In the sea of stars, 1,000 drops of dark red blood rains scattered and turned into rays of blood light. They flew towards the nascent soul realm beasts at an astonishing speed. In an instant, 1,000 injured nascent soul realm beasts were melted and decayed under the blood rain. The remaining few nascent soul realm beasts barely withstood the attack of the blood rain. However, they were already at a loss. They desperately ran towards the most prominent sea palace in the pass. They must inform General Gui Nu about Ning Fan's breakthrough. After keeping the blood rain, Ning Fan clawed at the sky. The blood and demon cores of 100,000 pill refinement beasts and 1,000 nascent soul realm beasts turned into blood light and core shadows. They gathered at the center of Ning Fan's palm and condensed into a blood-red light ball. This light ball contained almost all of the essence chi of 100,000 ferocious beasts. Its blood chi was overwhelming. After swallowing the light ball and refining the blood power, about 1% of the goo poison in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness was immediately dissolved. As for his demon power, it was slowly increasing under the influence of the blood chi. However, he needed to completely refine the goo poison in order to increase his demon power. The dissolution of the goo poison meant that his spirit sense had improved. The spirit sense that had been strengthened under the inheritance of the blood essence was now completely stable. When this evil cold goo is completely eliminated, my late spirit sense will be able to break through to the peak. After Ning Fan broke through the grand formation of the Ghost Pass, Stone Warrior and the other puppets also began to kill the enemies in other directions. The nests of the sea beasts were easily broken through. Their roars of fear and anger could be heard continuously. Shi Ran, who was curled up in Ning Fan's embrace, was so frightened by the screams that her face turned pale. To her, this scene was a little too terrifying. It was not that she had never seen a battle between cultivators before. However, such a large-scale battle and the sea of blood that dyed the sea of stars red still made her feel scared. There were 8 divine transformation realm experts guarding the Ghost Pass. When Ning Fan was breaking through the formation, the 8 of them were drinking and having fun. If it wasn't for that, Ning Fan definitely would not be able to break through the formation unhindered. In the Sea Palace, the sound of stringed and bamboo music could be heard from afar. In the joyous atmosphere of the guests, the Lord of the Ghost Pass, Gui Nu, was holding a grand banquet to celebrate his birthday. Gui Nu was a white-haired and one-eyed desolate general. His appearance was old but he had a fierce aura force. His eyes were cloudy but as deep as the sea. His mid-divine transformation realm cultivation base allowed him to guard the Ghost Pass and become the right-hand man of King Kuan Devil. Even the plan to attack the Star Island was part of his plan. Below his seat, the 7 early Divine Transformation Realm Deputy Generals were exchanging toasts. Each of them showed respect to Gue Nu from the bottom of their hearts. If you don't break through the Ghost Pass, you will all be my slaves. This bold and unconstrained oath was the origin of the 2 words, Gue Nu. The vanguard has already left the Ghost Pass. In less than a month, they will be able to station themselves at the periphery of the Star Island. When that time comes, there will be other demon armies to restrain the old bear. As for us, we will follow King Kun Devil's order and take care of that early Divine Transformation Realm expert. This old man would like to see how strong that early Divine Transformation Realm expert is and whether he can withstand one of my attacks. Gue Nu was already half drunk. Ghost General is extraordinarily brave. His Jade Life Body technique has almost reached the peak of the 2nd level. He is considered one of the best among the mid-Divine Transformation Realm experts in the Sea of Stars. That early Divine Transformation Realm expert is nothing. He can only scare that cowardly old bear. If he faces Ghost General, I'm afraid he will lose his life in less than 3 moves. 3 moves. This old man only needs 1 move to kill him. Speaking of which, isn't it very lively outside today? Gue Nu stood up. His eyes narrowed and suddenly revealed a shocked expression. He could faintly hear countless miserable cries and beasts roaring coming from the direction of the Ghost Pass, which was tens of thousands of li away. What shocked him even more was that in the main hall of the Sea Palace, a white-robed figure carrying a delicate young lady appeared out of thin air. With just a sway, he appeared out of thin air. No one could see how he entered the palace. The 7 early Divine Transformation Realm deputies immediately stood up with their hands on their swords. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. They could not see how Ning Fan appeared. The only thing they could tell was that Ning Fan was an early Divine Transformation Realm cultivator while the young lady was a late Divine Transformation Realm cultivator. Late Divine Transformation Realm. Most of the people's astonishment was directed at Shiran. However, those with discerning eyes could see that Shiran had damaged herself in order to concoct pills. Her chi was chaotic and she could not release her demon power at all. As such, there was nothing to be afraid of. However, since Ning Fan could barge into the Sea Palace, something big must have happened in the outside world. As soon as everyone released their spirit sense, their expressions changed greatly. Outside the Ghost Pass, the nests of 300,000 sea beasts had been razed to the ground. Outside the Sea Palace, 11 Divine Transformation Realm spiritual puppets and a half-step Void Refinement Realm refined Black Dragon corpse surrounded the Sea Palace tightly. You're courting death. How dare you kill people in my Southern Star Sea's Ghost Pass? You must die. The 2 early Divine Transformation Realm deputies were enraged. They turned into 2 traces of green smoke. One attacked Shiran while the other attacked Ning Fan. In their eyes, the people in the outside world were all refined corpses and puppets. Only the young lady in front of them was alive. In terms of cultivation base, the young lady seemed to be stronger than the young man. Perhaps she was the leader of the puppets. The puppets in the outside world were extremely strong. However, if they could capture the leader of the puppets, they could turn the situation around. Even though they hated them for wasting their time by drinking wine, they did not put Ning Fan and Shiran in their eyes. Shiran was injured and she was not good at fighting. Her face was pale and her chi was chaotic. Ning Fan's chi seemed to be quite fierce. However, he was just an early Divine Transformation Realm cultivator after all. There was nothing to be afraid of. Shark bite. Whale bite. The 2 deputies reverted to their original forms. Their human forms remained unchanged. However, they revealed their shark and whale heads and bit at Ning Fan and Shiran. The bodies of wild beasts were terrifying in the first place. The bite of the shark and whale was enough to kill ordinary Divine Transformation Realm cultivators who had weak bodies. The 2 attacks were as fast as lightning, but Ning Fan was faster. No one could see his identity clearly. He had already blocked in front of Shiran and threw out both of his fists. The force of his fists landed on the top of the two deputies' heads. The sharp teeth that they were proud of could not withstand a single blow from Ning Fan's fists. Their teeth were crushed. The tremendous force spread through the top of their heads. Their demon bones were crushed and their demon bodies were turned into a mist of blood by the force of the fists. When the remaining force spread out, the guests who were below the divine transformation realm in the sea palace immediately died and the void shattered. He killed the two deputies in an instant. Gue Nu's eyes were filled with astonishment. He did not expect that Ning Fan, who looked inconspicuous, was actually a body refinement expert who could kill a divine transformation realm expert with just a single punch. Judging from the power of that punch, he was at least not weaker than a second-level Jade Life realm expert. The more Gue Nu looked at Ning Fan, the more familiar he felt Ning Fan was. However, he was still drunk and could not recall who that person was. He just took a step forward with an imposing aura force and ordered the deputies beside him in a deep voice. He is a second-level Jade Life realm expert. Don't make a move recklessly. Let me eliminate him. Don't make a move recklessly meant that they should launch a sneak attack when they have the chance. The remaining 5 early divine transformation realm experts understood his order. Their eyes fell on Ning Fan. Ning Fan revealed a sarcastic expression. He also took a step forward and crushed Gue Nu's aura force. Did you just say that you can eliminate me in a single move? Puff, Gue Nu's aura force was crushed in just one move. He retreated 10 steps back and stabilized his body. However, he coughed out a mouthful of blood which dyed his white beard red. His expression changed greatly. This young man has a very strange technique. He crushed my aura force with a single step. Let's attack together and kill him. Attack together. Kill. The Sea of Stars was filled with ferocious beasts. Even if they were at the end of their rope, they would still fight desperately. Besides, Gue Nu thought that he might not necessarily lose since he had 6 deputies on his side. Their ferocious aura force seemed to be directed at Ning Fan. However, 3 of them immediately turned into wisps of smoke and moved towards Shiran. The demons of the Sea of Stars only like to bully women, huh? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with coldness. Last time, it was because of his carelessness that Chu Feng was able to take advantage of him and almost hurt Shiran. This time, he would not be careless again. He took a step back and held Shiran's slender waist. At this moment, the figures of 3 deputy generals appeared one after another behind Shiran. As soon as the 3 of them appeared, their expressions changed greatly. They did not expect that Ning Fan would see through their plan to ambush Shiran with just a glance. Close your eyes, Ning Fan instructed softly. Immediately, Shiran's face turned pale and she closed her eyes obediently. At the next moment, Ning Fan slapped his palm towards the 3 generals. The might of his palm caused the Sea of Stars to roll in reverse. Within 1,000 li, the sea was separated into a dry zone that was 100 zhang wide. Retreat quickly. This person is not at the 2nd level of the Jade Life realm. He is at the 3rd level. Even Gue Nu, who was at the peak of the 2nd level of the Jade Life realm, could not split the sea with a single palm strike. Under the force of the palm strike, the bones of the 3 generals let out cracking sounds. They could barely stand steadily. No one dared to underestimate the might of that palm strike. Demon form appear. The 3 generals transformed into their original forms that were 1,000 zhang tall, attempting to block the might of that palm strike with their strong physical bodies as wild beasts. Boom! As soon as the palm strike landed, the earth trembled and the mountains shook. All the scales of the 3 beasts were instantly shattered. After a few cracking sounds, the immortal veins of the 3,000 zhang tall giant beasts were broken. Their demon cores were crushed and their bones turned into ashes. They were dead. As for the attacks of the other 3 generals, Ning Fan ignored them. He directly took 9 steps forward and formed a sword with his great force. The 10,000 zhang tall sea palace collapsed under the sword light. Gue Nu seemed to have suffered a heavy blow. He coughed out a mouthful of blood and only then did he manage to stabilize his body. As for the other 2 deputy generals, they were directly turned into minced meat under the 9 steps of heaven trampling. Gue Nu was the only one left. Help. I need to ask for help. Gue Nu's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He patted his storage pouch and took out a crimson-red formation disc. The formation disc was used to set up a imprisonment formation. There were 3 layers in total and they seemed to be imprisoning someone. There are 3 star Cs in total. We are in the Greedy Wolf Star. These prisoners are the experts of the Army Destroyer Star C. They were captured by the great King Kuan Devil. He set a restriction on them and handed them to me. Unless there is no other choice, they are not to be used easily. Open. As Gue Nu's eyes flashed with ruthlessness, the seals of the 3 imprisonment formations were torn apart. 3 rays of traveling light shot out from the formation disc and stood beside Gue Nu. All of them had mid-divine transformation realm chi. Moreover, the red-faced old man who was the leader of the 3 was in existence, who was half a step away from breaking through to the late divine transformation realm. I'm out. I'm finally out. I'm free. The 3 of them glanced at Gue Nu and sneered. Then, they looked at Ning Fan and Gue Nu with disdain. However, when they saw the corpses of the wild beasts on the ground, their expressions turned slightly solemn. Kill these 2 and I'll return the freedom of the 3 of you. Gue Nu said with a hideous smile. An injured late divine transformation realm expert and an early divine transformation realm ant? Deal. The 3 of them laughed and agreed. However, their eyes were immediately filled with fear. They saw Ning Fan take a step forward. Black chi floated around his body and turned into a black robe. His black hair grew longer and fluttered without wind. The moment strange demonic marks appeared on his face, he took a step forward and turned into a flowing black shadow. Black Torrent Spirit Separation Technique. The moment this technique appeared, the 4 mid-divine transformation realm experts, including Gue Nu, were filled with fear. What kind of magic technique is this? It's unstoppable. Unstoppable. Incarnation. This is the incarnation that only void fragmentation realm old monsters can comprehend. Ordinary techniques won't be able to attack it at all. This young man has an incarnation. Among those at the same level as him, he's almost invincible. How can we possibly be his match? Gue Nu, you tricked us. Without any hesitation, the 4 of them turned into rays of light and fled. However, just as they escaped from the Sea Palace, they became even more frightened. It was because the Sea Palace was surrounded by 12 powerful chi. There was no way for them to escape. Die. The black shadow dispersed and the black shadow condensed. The moment Ning Fan's figure condensed, the 4 mid-divine transformation realm experts let out a miserable cry. They were surrounded by the black shadow and died. There was no one left alive in the Ghost Impregnable Pass. The blood of the demons killed here was enough for Ning Fan to completely neutralize the poison of the evil cold goo. A long time after he killed the demons, a small black sword broke through the air and arrived. It was the flying sword that transmitted sound. When it reached the direction of the Sea Palace, it gently exploded and turned into a furious order. It was from Kuan Mo. Chu Feng's vanguard demon army has been annihilated. None of them survived. Gue Nu, I order you to be on high alert. If anything happens to the Ghost Impregnable Pass, I will hold you responsible. As for the matter of killing that early divine transformation realm expert, I will give you another order. You just wait here. The voice echoed 3 times in the lonely battlefield of skeletons before it disappeared. Ning Fan condensed a blood-red ball of light in his hand and sneered. Isn't Kun Mo's warning a little too late? He wants to kill me, but I have already retaliated. The Ghost Impregnable Pass has been destroyed. Liu Bei, I have a phobia of blood. She ran still did not dare to open her eyes. Her face turned even paler. Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry after hearing what she said. Take this pill, Qin Wentian said. This is the sixth revolution pill, the heaven reversal pill. It's a pill that can heal severely injured void refinement realm experts. Why do you have? There's no need to ask. Just eat it. Ning Fan let go of Shi Ran and scanned the bloody battlefield. In total, he had killed 400,000 core realm beasts, 10,000 nascent soul realm beasts, 11 early divine transformation realm beasts, 12 mid-divine transformation realm beasts and 1 late divine transformation realm beasts. However, it was still not enough. There were 2 paths to becoming an expert. One was to pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger, tricking their teammates and snatching their treasures after the whole group is wiped out. The other path was to become a villain and make their devil might shake the heavens. They would make children stop crying when they heard their name and turn the sea of stars upside down. If you are afraid, you can go back first. No. I want to go with you. Shi Ran looked at the 6th revolution pill in her hand. Her heart was filled with sweetness. Liu Bei really likes me. Otherwise, why would he be willing to give me such a precious pill? Father said that the pill refinement techniques of my profound medicine clan cannot be passed to outsiders. However, if I meet a lover who has a good aptitude, I can secretly teach him. Should I teach him my pill refinement techniques? It should be okay. I guess. Chapter 304. 3 days had passed and Ning Fan was still alive. His body was covered in purple frost. However, after refining the blood crystals, his hot blood collided with the cold poison. Ning Fan did not die. The news about the destruction of Gue Xiong Pass spread across the greedy star ocean like snowflakes. When Bear Demon Man Shan received the news, he was shocked. Above the ruins of Gue Xiong Pass, there was a huge empty space among the mountains of corpses and seas of blood. On the empty space, someone used a sharp sword to carve out 7 blood-red words. The murderer was Liu Bei from Luo Yun. The news made Bear Demon Man Shan unable to calm down. Gue Xiong Pass had a peak divine transformation realm grand formation. Under the control of Gue Nu and the others, even Bear Demon Man Shan himself could not break through the pass. However, Liu Bei managed to suppress the Gue Xiong Pass. Among the corpses, there were only the sea beasts of Gue Xiong Pass and no other demon beasts. What did this mean? It meant that Liu Bei who broke through the Gue Xiong Pass did not bring many people with him. Otherwise, it was impossible for there to be no outsider among the hundreds of thousands of corpses. Who is Liu Bei? I'm having a hard time dealing with an early divine transformation realm cultivator. If Liu Bei also comes to the Star Island, it will be even more difficult for me to face the 2 fiends. However, this Liu Bei has helped me a lot. I heard that the Star Dragon Kid wants to attack my Star Island. This Liu Bei obviously has a grudge against Kun Mo. Judging from the fact that he could break through the Gue Xiong Pass, it won't be difficult for him to stir up a storm in the southern Star Ocean. If this person can kill Kun Mo, I will feel more at ease. The battle on the Star Island can be avoided. On the other side, Kun Mo received the news through telepathy in Li Kun Palace. He was so angry that he could not calm down. The vanguard army was annihilated. The Gue Xiong Pass was destroyed. Pass my order. Use all the forces in the southern Star Ocean to kill Liu Bei. Who is Liu Bei? Humph. My Gu King token is reacting. That Liu Bei has been poisoned by the evil cold goo. In the southern Star Sea, the one who was afflicted with the cold poison and was sealed in ice for 100 li was Liu Bei. Kill him if you see him. Kun Mo's eyes were filled with hatred. He had yet to take revenge on that mysterious early divine transformation realm cultivator of the Star Island. Looking at the dark purple Gu King token in his hand, Kun Mo and said with a hideous smile. Who killed Liu Bei? I'll behead it and take its evil cold goo. I'll use the Gu King's token to resolve the cold poison and use the Gu sense to increase the power of my divine sense. If other forces kill Liu Bei, this reward will not be wasted. Once this order was issued, all the sea beasts became excited, and even many of the reclusive sea beast forces became restless. Goo poison could hurt people, but it could also be used as medicine to increase one's psyche power. In fact, the original purpose of the goo poison's creation was to be used as medicine, but it was later modified into a poison. Gradually, it became common knowledge that the goo poison could not be devoured. However, just because ordinary people could not devour the goo poison did not mean that no one could. For example, Kuo-imo, who reared goo worms, had the goo emperor token, which could neutralize the poison of goo worms and turn them into nourishing medicine. This goo king token was not actually owned by Kuo-imo. He had obtained it by chance in the Star Palace. It was precisely because of the profundity of the token that it could neutralize goo poison and turn goo into medicine. That was why Kuo-imo's journey had been smooth sailing and his strength had increased tremendously. In the end, he had become one of the 4 sacred monsters in the Sea of Stars. The evil cold goo's insect sense was especially strong, ordinary people could not refine it. However, with the Goo King's token, once the cold poison was neutralized and the goo power was refined, any sea beast would have a chance to break through to the soul formation peak stage. Find Liu Bei and kill him. All of a sudden, countless ferocious beasts that lived in seclusion came out of their nests and plunged the southern Star Sea into chaos just to kill Ning Fan. He only wanted to kill the enemy and obtain the evil cold goo to raise his divine sense. The Sea of Stars was in chaos, but this chaos was far from enough. The star spirit sea beasts did not have any immortal jades. However, during the battle in Ghost Xiong Pass, Ning Fan had seized a large amount of sea herbs and devoured countless demon blood and demon cores. He had even obtained thousands of gold core realm and nascent soul realm Dao fruits. With Ning Fan's current magical power, he wouldn't be able to increase his cultivation base after consuming these Dao fruits, but it was a rare treasure for harmonious spirit, gold core, and nascent soul cultivators. Back in the day, a golden core Dao fruit could stir up a storm in the state of Yu. Today, Ning Fan had thousands of Dao fruits with him, making him invincible in the Star Sea. Standing on the golden flame chariot, wherever Ning Fan passed by, the sea would immediately be frozen into purple frost that extended to 100 li. It had been a few days since Ning Fan had traveled southwards from Ghost Xiong Pass. During these days, he had destroyed a few sea cities. There were also many reckless sea beasts that immediately swarmed towards him once they noticed that the seawater had frozen. In the beginning, there were only a few sea beasts that attacked the golden flame chariot. Most of them came in groups. Once they noticed that the Sea of Stars had frozen, they immediately attacked him with all their might. Ning Fan, of course, showed no mercy and killed all of them. However, after searching their souls, his eyes suddenly turned cold. The reason why the Star Sea was in chaos was actually because Kuo-imo was chasing after him with the evil cold goo. The Goo King's token. This item is indeed a treasure. It's really a waste for it to fall into your hands. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. His spirit sense spread to 30,000 li without restraint. 30,000 li away, large groups of sea beasts were flying towards him in formations from 7 different directions. There were even some divine transformation realm wild beasts among them. As for these people, the patterns on their armor were definitely not those of the Kuan-li Palace. They were not Kuan-mo's subordinates but members of other sea beasts. When the sea beasts formed a formation, their speed was comparable to divine transformation realm experts. It was not surprising. What triggered Ning Fan's killing intent was that there were actually other forces involved in the grudge between him and Kuo-imo. Ning Fan killed and searched their souls along the way. He already knew that the Earth Palace was divided into 3 parts, namely the Greedy Wolf Star Sea, the Broken Army Star Sea and the 7 Kills Star Sea. In the Greedy Wolf Star Sea, Kuo-imo and the other 3 sacred demons were the kings of the Star Sea. Of course, other than the 4 sacred demons, there were also many low-profile forces like the Bear Demon who had been living in seclusion. Ning Fan knew from the beginning that there could not be only 4 half-step void refinement realm experts in this boundless Star Sea. Hence, after breaking through the Ghost Xiong Pass, he only killed the demon cities under Kun Mo's command along the way instead of attacking the demon cities that were free of the pass. It was not because he was afraid. He just wanted to avoid unnecessary trouble. This was the grudge between Ning Fan and Kun Mo. It was unwise to add other strong enemies before he could settle this grudge. However, now that other forces were involved in this grudge, Ning Fan would not show them any mercy. After 10 breaths, the Golden Flame Chariot was already surrounded by the 7 great forces. There were a total of 70,000 sea beasts led by the wild beast. All of them had transformed into human form and were Divine Transformation Realm experts. 6 of them were at the early Divine Transformation Realm while 1 of them was at the mid-Divine Transformation Realm. The mid-Divine Transformation Realm expert was an elderly man in green robes. He was standing on a green sea cloud while holding a green horsetail whisk in his hand. He had the demeanor of an immortal. However, when he opened his small eyes and looked at the Golden Flame Chariot with a fiery gaze, it was obvious that he was not a kind person. A late Divine Transformation Realm expert who has yet to recover from his injuries and an early Divine Transformation Realm expert who has been poisoned by the evil cold goo. The elderly man's gaze swept across Ning Fan and she ran. He completely ignored the black dragon and the spiritual puppets. If the elderly man knew that these spiritual puppets and refined corpses were all above the Divine Transformation Realm and there was even a half-step Void Refinement Realm black dragon among them, he would definitely turn around and leave. Unfortunately, things did not turn out as he wished. This time, Ning Fan had made the right decision to use Stone Warrior. Stone Warrior, who was already at the mid-Divine Transformation Realm, could use the secret technique of the Puppet Ascension technique to conceal spiritual puppets and refined corpses. Unless one's cultivation base was higher than the mid-Divine Transformation Realm or late Divine Transformation Realm, one would definitely not be able to tell how strong these spiritual puppets were. I am Liu Bei. I have a personal grudge against Kun Mo and I don't want to become enemies with other forces. I will give all of you one last chance. If you don't leave within 3 breaths, you will die. When the Divine Transformation Realm experts of the 7 major forces heard Ning Fan's indifferent threat, all of them were stunned. Then, each of them sneered at him as if they had just heard an extremely funny joke. A threat. This early Divine Transformation Realm ant actually dares to threaten us. Putting aside the fact that he has been poisoned by the evil cold goo, his injuries will certainly be severe. Even if he is not poisoned by it, why would I, the clan leader of the Star Wolf clan, be afraid of a mere early Divine Transformation Realm cultivator? However, this person looks a little familiar. Clan leader of the Thunder Carp clan, what do you think, hee? We have already surrounded him. Is there any reason for us to let him live? We are not kind people. We only have one purpose in coming here and that is to kill this person. We want to raise our will sense with the help of the goo. The 6 of them were discussing among themselves. However, all of their discussions came to an abrupt halt after the elderly man in green robes let out a gentle cough. I am the Vice City Lord of the Dragon Burial Sea City, Qing Xian. As soon as he said that, a storm that had just calmed down immediately caused a commotion. The Dragon Burial Sea City. You are a citizen of the Sea City. The 6 early Divine Transformation Realm experts revealed fearful expressions as if they had just heard something terrifying. They were not afraid of the elderly man's mid-Divine Transformation Realm cultivation base. Instead, they were afraid of the reputation of the Dragon Burial Sea City. Is Lord Venerated Dragon doing well? The clan leader of the Star Wolf clan asked carefully. Venerated Dragon Burial is doing well. He is currently in seclusion to break through to the half-step Void Refinement Realm. Qing Xian said proudly. What? The 6 of them were shocked. When Venerated Dragon Burial was at the peak Divine Transformation Realm, he had already withstood 10 palm strikes from the old bear. Once he breaks through to the half-step Void Refinement Realm, he would probably be even stronger than Kun Mo. Then, this evil cold goo, the evil cold goo and Liu Bei's head belong to the Dragon Burial Sea City. Do you have any objections? Qing Xian's eyes darkened. We dare not. The 6 of them immediately cupped their fists while sweating profusely. Very well. Qing Xian nodded his head. If these 6 clans do not know what's good for them, he would not mind bringing people to annihilate these 6 clans after returning to the Sea City. As for the 7 of them, their tone was as if they already had Ning Fan in their hands. They did not put him in their eyes at all. Shiran was injured while Ning Fan was poisoned. Logically speaking, any one of the clans would have the strength to kill the 2 of them. Qing Xian's gaze swept across Shiran. His eyes immediately burned with passion. This lady's cultivation base was not weak and she had a great appearance. She would be a good human cauldron. Then, his gaze fell on Ning Fan. Qing Xian took a step forward and released his aura force. Junior, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over this lady and commit suicide here so that I don't have to do anything to you. Then, I'll spare your demon soul and let you return to samsara. Hee hee. In this life, you've offended someone you shouldn't have. However, if you're obedient, you'll still have a chance to cultivate again in your next life. When Qing Xian's words fell into the ears of the other 6 clan leaders, they immediately criticized him in their hearts. This Qing Xian is really cunning. Even though it's not difficult to capture the 2 of them by force, they might still suffer some injuries. Therefore, he actually advised Ning Fan to commit suicide. If it's in the past, no one would commit suicide. However, Qing Xian had given a guarantee that Ning Fan's soul could enter samsara. To a person who was destined to die, it was undoubtedly a great temptation. However, when Qing Xian's words fell into Shiran's ears, she immediately burst into laughter. A mid-divine transformation realm cultivator whose chi was even weaker than that ghost slave actually dared to ask Ning Fan to commit suicide. Shiran suddenly felt that there was nothing in this world that was funnier than this. Do I need to close my eyes? Shiran asked softly. Just close your eyes. These flies are quite annoying. 3 breaths are up. Ning Fan gave these unrelated forces a choice of 3 breaths. However, if they insist on interfering in this matter, Ning Fan would not be merciful. As he took a step forward, the waves of the star sea shook violently. Thousands of waves rose from the depths of the sea. Cracks spread along the hollow space beneath Ning Fan's feet. That step had shattered Qing Xian's mid-divine transformation realm aura force. He coughed out blood and retreated continuously, almost falling into the green sea cloud. He was completely stunned. My aura force was crushed by this man with just a step. I, a dignified mid-divine transformation realm cultivator, was injured by this man with just a step. I remember now. I've seen this face of yours before. It's the killing order issued by the Likuan Palace. Impossible. It's actually the same person who's hunting me twice. Ah. Before Qing Xian could finish his words, Ning Fan had already taken 9 consecutive steps without showing any mercy. Every step he took created cracks in heaven and earth. Every step he took felt like he was stepping on the sea of consciousness of the 7 divine transformation realm experts, causing them great pain. In just an instant, the 9 steps turned into a sword. The terrifying sword of great force swept across the area. The sound of the sword soared into the sky. Within 10,000 li, everything was covered by the sword light. Roar! Each of the sea beasts let out a terrified roar. However, in just an instant, 70,000 sea beasts were all killed. The eyes of the divine transformation realm experts of the 6 clans were filled with fear. That sword of great force was shapeless and formless. It was impossible to defend against it. The only thing they could do was to run. However, even though they were not fast enough, the sword light was faster. When the sword light penetrated their bodies, a great sword aura penetrated their bones. Their expressions froze. At the next moment, they were turned into pieces of flesh and blood and died. Ah! Qing Xian let out a miserable shriek. His horsetail whisk was broken and the sea cloud collapsed. Under the power of this sword, a sense of certain death rose in his heart. He clenched his teeth and used his fingers as a sword to chop off his own head. With a whoosh, his head split into the sea and escaped. His demon body was slashed into minced meat by the power sword in the next exchange. Even though his head escaped, there was not a hint of calmness on his face. There was only fear. Is this person Liu Bei? Is he the person who was poisoned by the evil cold goo and is on the verge of death? What a joke! This person killed an early divine transformation realm expert with 9 steps. His strength was unfathomable and made me shiver. He was at least a late divine transformation realm expert or even a peak divine transformation realm expert. Beheading and escaping. The demonic techniques in this world are really strange and strange. Freeze. With a finger pointing to the sky, a line of blood went into Qing Xian's head and stopped his head, which was trying to escape. At the next moment, he appeared beside Qing Xian on his golden flame chariot. His 5 fingers grabbed Qing Xian's head. Qing Xian was scared and regretful. That finger easily froze me. What kind of technique is this? Even the buried dragon city lord could not display such a powerful technique. In the next moment, Ning Fan would search his soul and memory and kill him. Before that, I must keep my life. Lord, please spare my life. I know the biggest secret of the buried dragon sea city. I know where the ancestral blood is hidden. This secret is definitely not something that can be obtained by searching my soul and memory. As long as you spare my life, I am willing to bring you there to retrieve the ancestral blood. I can even help you plot against revered dragon. Ancestral blood? Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He stopped searching Qing Xian's soul and placed a demon seal on his head. The strength of the seal made Qing Xian despair. He was afraid that he would not be able to escape from Ning Fan's control for the rest of his life. However, he did not dare to resist because the demon seal was placed on him meant that Ning Fan would not kill him for the time being. Lead the way to the buried dragon sea city. Chapter 305. Along the way south, after a series of interrogations, Qing Xian revealed everything about the ancestral blood, not daring to hide anything. Buried beneath the dragon burial sea city was a primordial dragon skeleton. Although the skeleton was weathered and useless, its bone marrow contained 2 drops of ancestral blood. Without a doubt, this dragon was the ancestor of the dragon clan when it was alive. It was because of these 2 drops of ancestral blood that the venerable dragon burial was so powerful. He was able to fight against Lao Xiong when he was only at the peak divine transformation stage. Currently, Zhang Long was in seclusion somewhere in the demon city. He was refining the ancestral blood in order to break through to the half-step void refinement realm. Qing Xian was the only one who knew the exact location of his seclusion. It was not anywhere but in the heavenly abode. Without Qing Xian following him, it would be extremely difficult for Ning Fan to reveal the location of Dragon Burial's seclusion by himself. This was also the reason why Ning Fan did not kill Qing Xian. He was still useful. Ancestral blood could only be inherited by the ancestors. One could only rely on one's own cultivation. These 2 drops of ancestral blood were exceptions among exceptions. Perhaps it was because of the Celestial Emperor's power in the Starry Sea, or perhaps it was because of the strange geography of Sea City that it had been passed down. Ning Fan possessed the Fuli bloodline. Although these 2 drops of ancestral blood could not directly enhance the strength of his bloodline, it was still quite beneficial to him. Moreover, even if it was not because of the ancestral blood, he still wanted to annihilate this buried dragon city. All of this was because the buried dragon city had attacked him. Since Xiao Qin was being hunted, he had to retaliate fiercely. The best way to do so was undoubtedly to annihilate a major faction like the buried dragon city so that the other minor factions would think twice and not dare to provoke him again. He had already started killing. He would kill 1 person, he would kill 10,000 people. He had already annihilated the army of the dragon burial city and captured Qing Xian. There was no turning back between him and the dragon burial city. how many experts are there in the buried dragon city? Apart from the city lord, who is at the peak of deity transformation, there are 3 late-stage elders. I am the city lord's trusted aide, so I was appointed as the vice city lord. There are 7 mid-stage experts who are on par with me. As for early-stage soul formation realm cultivators, there are 15 of them. 4 of them are newly captured. Captive? Yes. As you know, something has happened recently. There are a lot of outsiders in the Star Sea. These 4 people were captured by the city lord when they accidentally trespassed into our dragon burial city. Then, they were planted with demon seals and made to stay in the city as guards. Qing Xian did not dare to hide anything from Ning Fan. He used one head to perform a secret technique and condense the star spirit demon body again, but his cultivation had sadly fallen to the early stage. He was already lucky to be able to keep his life from Ning Fan's hands. The drop in his cultivation base was unavoidable. At this moment, Qing Xian finally understood how terrifying the white-clothed young man before him was. However, this realization was too painful and too late. As the deputy city lord of the buried dragon city, Qing Xian had no choice but to betray the buried dragon city in order to save his life. However, after calming down, Qing Xian found out that even though Ning Fan's strength was strong, there were no signs of it being fake. It seemed like he was really just an early divine transformation realm cultivator. Even though this person is strong and can kill me like an ant, his cultivation base is only at the early divine transformation realm. I wonder if he can defeat City Lord. I have been planted with a demon seal by this person. If he dies, I will definitely die. Sigh. City Lord was able to withstand 10 palm strikes from Old Bear back then. I think your strength has improved tremendously. If this person is defeated by City Lord, what should I do? Sigh. Qing Xian took a deep breath and looked at the golden flame chariot under his feet. This chariot was traveling at a very fast speed. It has already reached the void refinement realm. This Liu Bei was indeed a ruthless person who escaped from the hands of Kun Mo. With such speed, even Kun Mo could not catch up with him. The city lord certainly could not catch up with him either. This person might not be a match for the city lord, but it should not be a problem for him to escape. Forget it. I'll just follow him until the end. It's just a pity that my family members will be killed by the city lord to vent his anger. The golden flame chariot seemed to have turned into an extremely thin golden line and traveled 100,000 li in the sea of stars. In this terrifying light, the buried dragon city was getting closer to them. Qing Xian immediately became nervous as rows of war chariots were approaching them. The buried dragon sea city was a neutral force. Its city lord, Venerable Zonglong, was also a ruthless person in the past. However, he was busy breaking through to the half-step void refinement realm in recent years and rarely came out. Even so, his ferocious reputation still remained. The city was heavily guarded. 100,000 li away from the north of the city were guarded by 100,000 sea beasts and 7 silver chariots. There was a divine transformation realm expert on each of the 7 chariots. 3 of them were wearing star armors and were mid-divine transformation realm experts. As for the other 4 generals, they were all wearing marten fur coats. All of them were early divine transformation realm experts. Their expressions were filled with anger, but they did not dare to say anything. Feng Han, step forward. One of the mid-divine transformation realm old men coldly ordered with a stern face. Yes. I wonder what orders General Mu Nan has for me. A young man with a bruise on his face took a step forward and cupped his fists at the old man. His eyes were filled with anger. If the demon cultivators of the second world were here, they would realize that this angry young man who had no choice but to lower his voice was actually the demon general of the Fengyun division, Feng Han. You already know the answer. The city lord will give you 1 month's time. Today is the last day. You better think it through. Feng Han doesn't dare to reveal the escape technique of the Fengyun division. General Mu Nan, please forgive me. Feng Han clenched his teeth. 1 month ago, he and 3 other demon generals of the Feng Yun division accidentally entered the buried dragon city. They were attacked and captured by the ferocious beasts in this place. Among the 4 of them, other than Feng Han, the rest were all in the mid-divine transformation stage. However, the 4 of them were defeated by the city lord of buried dragon city in a single move. The power of the buried dragon city master's ancestral blood demonic art was too terrifying. With one move, 3 mid-stage soul formation cultivators were directly reduced to early stage. Feng Han used a secret art at the crucial moment and escaped with a speed that even mid-stage soul formation cultivators couldn't match, avoiding the danger of being reduced to early stage. The 4 of them were captured and turned into buried dragon city's slaves. To Feng Han and the other arrogant demon generals, this was a great humiliation. If it wasn't for the fact that the buried dragon city lord was slightly interested in the cold wind technique, the 4 of them might not have survived until today. 1 month. The buried dragon city master gave Feng Han a month to consider. If he handed over the cultivation technique, he could guarantee his survival. If he was stubborn, then Zhang Long could only forcefully search his soul. Perhaps the cultivation technique he would obtain would not be complete, but he could only resort to such a method. In this 1 month, Feng Han hesitated and struggled. However, the result of the 4 generals' discussion was that they absolutely could not reveal the secret technique of Feng Yun division. How dare you? If you don't hand over the cultivation technique today, you will die. Mu Nan's eyes turned cold. As a general, why should I be afraid of death? Feng Han took a step forward. He had endured enough of this 1 month of humiliation. There was no need for him to endure it anymore today. Humph. You are quite stubborn. However, this old man has a way to make you spit out the cultivation technique later. Speaking of which, Liu Bei of Luoyun who caused the chaos in the Sea of Stars seems to have come from the same place as you. I wonder if the Vice City Lord of Qingxian will let you have another friend on your way to the Yellow Springs after capturing this person. Mu Nan's tone turned cold and contained a hidden threat. However, he never thought that this threat would cause Feng Han's originally furious gaze to gradually calm down. That calmness then turned into a fiery expression. Qingxian cannot capture Liu Bei. Feng Han stood proudly and laughed towards the sky. He had already prepared to die. How dare you? Is the name of the Vice City Lord something that a mere slave like you can call him? However, this old man is very surprised. You seem to be very interested in Liu Bei. According to what this old man knows, there are a total of 9 major powers in the domain where you live. Your Feng Yun division is the 3rd major power while Liu Bei comes from the 7th major power. Moreover, according to what this old man knows, Liu Bei is only at the early divine transformation realm. This means that his strength is at most similar to yours. Furthermore, he is injured by the evil cold parasite and his combat strength is not strong enough. This old man only needs 3 breaths to kill you, Feng Han. I don't even need 3 breaths to kill Liu Bei. Mu Nan spoke about the information of the 2nd realm in an unhurried manner, causing Feng Han's expression to turn cold. He fiercely turned around and glared at the other 3 surrendered generals. Immediately, one of the drunk demon generals lowered his head and revealed an ashamed expression. It was my carelessness after being drunk. However, I did not leak too much information. Without a doubt, this information was leaked by this drunk general by accident. Feng Han took a deep breath. It was meaningless to pursue the matter that had already been leaked. Staring at Mu Nan, Feng Han did not try to avoid his eyes. He said each word firmly. It is impossible for you to kill him. He doesn't need a single finger to kill you. Humph. This old man would like to see what kind of early divine transformation realm expert can kill me in less than a breath. As for you, since you have angered this old man will immediately search your soul and memory. Mu Nan's figure flashed. Even Feng Han could not see his figure clearly with a flash of smoke. In an instant, he appeared in front of Feng Han and grabbed the top of Feng Han's head. This was an attack that contained Mu Nan's wrath. Its power was not to be underestimated. This attack was too fast. Feng Han, who was already severely injured, had no way to avoid it. I will die. Feng Han's eyes were filled with regret. He was not afraid of death. He only hated the fact that as a demon general, he could not die on the battlefield. However, before Mu Nan's hand could grab the top of Feng Han's head, he suddenly stopped searching his soul. His eyes were filled with shock. In the far north, a golden line dragging a long golden flame was rushing towards this place. The strange thing was that the golden light caused the seawater to boil. However, there was purple cold chi constantly being emitted from the chariot, freezing the seawater. In this strange scene where the seawater was boiling and freezing, the golden flame chariot rushed straight towards them. Mu Nan and the other two mid-divine transformation realm experts were shocked and immediately ordered in a deep voice. Those who come, stop. However, the golden flame chariot was too dazzling. Its light was too domineering. It did not have the slightest intention of stopping. Only an even more domineering voice came from the chariot. Those who block the way shall die. Like a ray of golden light rushing over, or like a blazing sun exploding, the golden flame chariot crashed into the demon army. All the sea beasts in front of the chariot were smashed into meat paste. Just the impact of the chariot was not weaker than the attack of a mid-divine transformation realm expert. Stop this chariot. Mu Nan ordered. Together with the other two mid-divine transformation realm experts, they flew up and attacked the golden flame chariot. However, Feng Han and the other four mid-divine transformation realm experts did not attack the golden flame chariot. Instead, they steered their chariot and hurriedly dodged. They knew who was sitting in the chariot. They knew that a mid-divine transformation realm expert was not qualified to stop this chariot. 3 talents sword formation. Mu Nan and the other two mid-divine transformation realm experts opened their mouths and spat out bone swords filled with essence chi. 3 sword rays of essence chi landed on the golden flame chariot and formed 12 layers of sword chi formation. Layers of sword chi stacked on top of each other, forming a wall of formation light in the middle of the sea. After destroying 9 layers of formation light, the golden flame chariot finally stopped its advance. However, Mu Nan and the other two mid-divine transformation realm experts did not have it easy as well. The impact of the golden flame chariot was extremely powerful. 12 layers of sword formation was enough to block the attack of a late divine transformation realm expert. However, this golden flame chariot was able to destroy 9 layers of formation light. If only one of the 3 mid-divine transformation realm experts tried to stop the chariot, he or she would definitely be severely injured. At this moment, the 3 mid-divine transformation realm experts could clearly see the appearance of the golden flame chariot. At this moment, the 3 mid-divine transformation realm experts could clearly see the white-robed young man on the chariot. He is Liu Bei. Why is Vice City Lord Qing Xian also on this chariot? While Mu Nan and the other two mid-divine transformation realm experts were still hesitating, Qing Xian had already turned into a ray of green light and rushed towards one of them. He pierced his sword into his dantian without showing any mercy. The 3 mid-divine transformation realm experts were caught off guard. They did not expect that Qing Xian, the Vice City Lord, would attack them. Even though the person who was attacked by Qing Xian would not die under his sword, his dantian would still be destroyed and his cultivation base would be greatly damaged. He retreated in a panic and his eyes were filled with anger. Qing Xian! How dare you betray the city lord? Shameless! I don't want to die. This time, it's the city lord's fault. He shouldn't have provoked Liu Bei. He shouldn't have ordered us to seize his evil cold goo. Qing Xian's eyes were filled with ruthlessness. He must follow Ning Fan to the end. He only regretted not killing this enemy to prove his loyalty. Traitor, you must die. Mu Nan was enraged. However, at this moment, a trace of purple smoke flashed. It was Ning Fan. He instantly appeared in front of Mu Nan and pressed his finger on the top of Mu Nan's head. The force of that finger immediately caused the mountains and seas to collapse. The ferocious light of that finger was displayed with the force of a cultivator at the third level of the Jade Life realm. It directly shattered Munan's protective astral spirit and his head was forcefully pressed. With just a single finger, the mountains and seas that were 10,000 li crumbled completely. There was even a trace of void power lingering at the tip of his finger. It easily penetrated Munan's physical body, which was not weak, and penetrated his sea of consciousness. What a strong finger force! At this moment, Munan finally recalled Feng Han's words. It's impossible for you to kill him. However, he doesn't need to use a finger to kill you. Feng Han did not lie to him. Even though Liu Bei was only at the early divine transformation realm, his physical body was already comparable to a late divine transformation realm expert. No wonder Qing Xian would betray us. If I have the chance to live, I will also learn from him. Before he could finish his words, he was already killed by Ning Fan's finger. His physical body exploded into a mist of blood. Qing Xian was stunned. Munan's protective astral spirit was not weak at all. At least, no one at the mid-divine transformation realm could easily break through it. Since Ning Fan killed Munan with a single finger, doesn't it mean that the force of his finger is comparable to a late divine transformation realm expert's finger? Feng Han's face turned fiery. This man was none other than Liu Bei of the Luoyun sect. Leave no one alive. Along with Ning Fan's words, the stone warrior, the spiritual puppets and the refined corpses all turned into rays of light and began their slaughter. When the Black Dragon released its half-step void refinement realm aura force, the remaining two mid-divine transformation realm experts revealed a look of respect. My lord, please spare our lives. I, Wu Ya, am willing to follow my lord's war chariot and attack the Dragon City. I will never betray you in my life. At this moment, the two mid-divine transformation realm experts did not even have the courage to run away. Just now, the two of them hated and mocked Qing Xian for betraying them. However, when it was their turn, they realized how much courage it took to face death calmly. The two of them could not bring themselves to say Feng Han's words, why should a general be afraid of death? With a wave of his hand, Ning Fan planted 2 sense seals and pointed at the demon army. Then, he ordered the two of them without any room for refusal. Lead the way. Destroy the Dragon City. In the void, Wei Xian laid down layers of maze formations in an attempt to stop the geniuses of the northern heaven from descending upon them. The matter regarding the Star Palace had already been reported to him by another deacon. If he wanted to delay them, he could only resort to this method. Fortunately, this formation was just a bewildering formation. It was an immortal formation and not a killing formation. If the geniuses who pass by accidentally fall into the bewildering formation, they would not die. They would only be temporarily trapped in the void. Ning Fan, this old man can only do so much for you. This bewildering formation was very powerful. It was more than enough to trap them for 6 months. However, what Wei Xian did not expect was that 3 rays of light were fleeing in the void. Their speed was so terrifying that it made Wei Xian's eyes widen in shock. A shedding void realm true immortal. Why would such an expert come to this place? Could it be that she is also here for the star of the Heavenly Emperor? And the one following behind her? Could it be the realm beast? Not good. I have to hide quickly. If this person sees me setting up a formation here and plotting against the geniuses of the northern heaven, I will certainly be in trouble. Quickly. Wei Xian took out a violet gold star compass that could travel across the void. In a flash, he had already run 10 million li away. Indeed, he had run away. However, the 3 figures did not run away. The one at the front was a beautiful woman with a slender waist and voluptuous breasts. Her face was covered by a veil, making it impossible to see her face clearly. However, she was wearing a phoenix crown and a rosy belt, which were all precious immortal treasures. Every move she made carried a mature beauty that could turn all living things upside down. It was enough to tell that this person's status in the 4 heavens was not low. Her cultivation base was a little terrifying. The two ferocious beasts following behind her were each one of them 100,000 zhang in size. A ferocious beast of this level could easily wipe out the 9 worlds. Damn it. I just wanted to descend to the mortal world secretly. How did I get discovered by the realm beast? Forget it. If I can obtain the star of the Heavenly Emperor, it shouldn't be difficult for me to cut off the Gue Veined Scarlet Dragon for Man Air. She has suffered all these years. Humph. If it wasn't for the fact that I have to seal my cultivation base and conceal my senses when I descend to the mortal world, I wouldn't be afraid of a mere realm beast. Forget it. That star palace should not be far away. I just need one last escape. Ah! The beautiful woman suddenly let out a cry. She was caught off guard and fell into the bewildering formation set up by Wei Xian. For a moment, her beautiful face turned pale. At the moment when her face turned pale, the 2 realm beasts behind her let out a blood-red roar at the same time. Under the sound wave, the beautiful woman's cultivation base was sealed at an extremely fast speed. She felt a sharp pain in her internal organs. Damn it! How dare a mere realm beast seal my cultivation base? You're courting death. Speaking of which bastard set up a bewildering formation here and caused me to be injured? If I find out who it is, I will definitely use the strength of billions of cultivators in the Lost World Palace to kill that person. Although the beautiful woman was complaining, her eyes were solemn. It was still unknown whether she could take revenge on the person who set up the formation. Today, she was trapped in the bewildering formation and was attacked by the realm beasts. Chapter 306. The Stone Warrior and the other puppets were at the semi-god realm. How could a mere 50,000 core beasts and nascent soul beasts stand a chance against them? It was only a matter of time before all of them were wiped out. The 3 surrendered generals, Qing Xian, Wu Ye, and Wu Yun, looked fearful as they watched the demon army die at an alarming rate. If they did not surrender to Ning Fan, they would probably have ended up like the 50,000 demon army and Mu Nan. Will die. Ignoring the 3 generals, Ning Fan glanced at Feng Han and the other 3. When he first arrived, he noticed the 4 of them, but he did not pay much attention to them. Only now did he look at Feng Han. After searching through Mu Nan's memories, Xiaoqin knew what happened to Feng Han and the others in Dragon Burial City. You've been planted with demonic seals. I won't hide it from General Bei, that is indeed the case. The other 3 generals were ashamed, but Feng Han took a step forward and cupped his fists in response. When Wu Ye and Wu Yun saw this, they immediately had a bad feeling. In the past month, in order to obtain the cultivation method of the Feng Yun division from Feng Han, the 2 of them had tortured Feng Han many times. They must have offended him quite a lot. Judging from how Feng Han addressed Ning Fan, the 2 of them seemed to have some sort of friendship. Oh no, will I offend Ning Fan because of punishing Feng Han? I can help the 4 of you remove the demon restriction, but I have one condition. When the 4 of you return to Feng Yun division in the future, you must befriend Luo Yun. This. General Bei, don't worry. Before the Wind General entered the 3rd realm, he had already given the order that the Wind Division and the Cloud Division will form an alliance. We will advance and retreat together. As the demon generals of the Wind Division, we will obey the military order and will not dare to attack the Luo Yun Division on our own. And, that's good. The 4 of you, come over here. Ning Fan took a step forward and appeared in front of the 4 of them. With a flick of his sleeve, a golden-purple mist blew past the top of their heads. Immediately, their faces were filled with disbelief. The demonic restriction that confined his sea of consciousness seemed to have been weathered away by an ancient sandstorm. With a wave of his hand, it actually vanished into thin air. The 4 generals were stunned for a moment. Then, they cupped their fists and bowed. As for Qing Xian and the other surrendered generals, their shock was indescribable. This person's methods are so powerful. The demonic restriction was difficult to plant, and even more difficult to remove. The demon planting restriction requires the user to be willing, but the demon removing restriction requires the user to be one realm higher than the user of the restriction. This Liu Bei is truly amazing to be able to help others remove the demon removing restriction. Ning Fan was not concerned about the astonishment of the crowd. The reason why he was willing to lend a hand was because he had a good impression of Feng Han. It would naturally be better if he could improve the relationship between the Wind Division and the Cloud Division. As a combat force, the four of them would probably be of some use in the upcoming battle. The battle cries in the surroundings gradually stopped, and the ground was already littered with corpses. Ning Fan remained silent. With a wave of his hand, he condensed the demon blood and demon cores on the ground into blood crystals and consumed them. As for the Dao fruits and demon souls, they were handed over to the spiritual puppets to collect. Not enough, Ning Fan looked in the direction of the buried dragon city and muttered to himself. He didn't want to provoke forces other than Kun Mo, but many times, even if you didn't provoke others, others would provoke you. On the path of cultivation, there would always be battles. There was no right or wrong in a battle, only victory and defeat. The victor would live, and the loser would die. In front of them was the Dragon Burial City, where the ruthless venerable Dragon Burial resided. Back then, this person was able to block 10 of Lao Xiong's palms. He couldn't be underestimated. He was at the peak divine transformation realm. Moreover, he was in his opponent's territory. Even if he had the Black Dragon refined corpse, Ning Fan did not have the confidence to win. However, he couldn't take this step back. If someone punches you, you have to return the favor. Otherwise, more people will think that you are weak and easy to bully and come to beat you up. The cold chi in his body became stronger and stronger. Shi Ran shivered just by standing beside Ning Fan. The more demon blood he devoured, the weaker the goo poison became. However, the cold chi became stronger. As if it knew that it was about to be devoured by Ning Fan, the goo poison resisted at the last moment even though it was futile. His sea of consciousness felt like it was about to explode. However, no matter how cold it was and how painful it was, Ning Fan did not utter a single word or frown. Liu Bei, is it very painful? If it's painful, just shout it out. Let me know that you don't have to endure it. Shi Ran felt a little heartache even though she did not understand why she felt like this. It's not painful. Ning Fan said stubbornly. Do you think someone will come and save you if you cry? At this moment, Ning Fan seemed to have understood the feelings he had in his previous life. Even if he was just a small and fragile butterfly, even if his opponent was an immortal emperor who could destroy the heaven court with a single palm, he must not retreat. If he takes a step back, he will die. He must not retreat. Even if he will be crushed into ashes by the immortal emperor, he must save her. He must not retreat even if the entire heaven and earth will be overturned by his butterfly wings. If he takes a step back, he will be able to see the world. However, if there is no one in the world, what's the point of taking a step back? This time, close your eyes tightly and don't look. After keeping the golden flame chariot, Ning Fan took a step forward and spread his wings. He stopped Shi Ran. Purple smoke escape. This escape was filled with his conviction. He was going to turn venerable dragon burial into ashes. Lead the way. Qing Xian originally wanted to say something but Ning Fan's tone was too cold. He did not dare to say anything else. Under Qing Xian's lead, 21 strong divine transformation realm qi rushed into the dragon burial city. Every time a group of invading enemies was detected, they would immediately fire an arrow to warn them and launch an attack. Without any judgment, Ning Fan's baleful qi had already soared to the sky. His ferocious eyes were glaring. It was obvious that he was here to cause trouble. However, before any of the attacks could get close to Ning Fan and the others, they were directly blasted into ashes by the brutal means of the puppets. The layers of defense turned into a sea of blood. The dragon burial city was already far in front of them. In the middle of the sea of stars, the last pass was heavily guarded. 100,000 sea beasts stood in formation. The roars of 4 wild beasts shook the heavens. Just as Ning Fan and the others approached them, the beasts' roars were already resounding to the sky. Kill! The word kill came at an extremely fast speed. Immediately, it turned into rays of intimidating formation light and condensed into a huge blood-red word, kill, which blasted towards Ning Fan. As the word approached him, Ning Fan struck out with his palm and blasted it against the huge word. Under the tremendous force, it almost forced him to take half a step back. What a powerful joint attack formation technique! Using sound as a formation, using man as the medium and using the sound of killing to kill the enemy. This word, kill, was comparable to the full-force attack of a late divine transformation realm expert. However, he could not retreat. Not even half a step back. Break! He clenched his 5 fingers and crushed the word, kill. Even though the killing chi was broken, it went into Ning Fan's body and destroyed it wantonly. It was the killing chi attack of 100,000 ferocious beasts. He could only defend against it with his killing chi. His body was in pain and his body was being torn apart. However, his eyes gradually revealed a hint of madness. He felt his demon blood boiling and his Tao heart was being corroded by the devil chi. The yin-yang fire that was formed from the 9 types of cold chi and the earth fire was boiling and resonating with each other. His heart had almost lost its rationality. It was as if it had turned into flames. At this moment, Ning Fan suddenly had a feeling that he was a flame. His past experiences in controlling fire appeared in front of his eyes. However, all of them were rejected in the end. His understanding towards flames had faintly improved. Do you think only you guys have killing chi? At this moment, Ning Fan had completely transformed into his Fuli demon body. His long hair was purplish black and he had 2 horns on his head. His body was covered with purple scales. At this moment, the purple star in his left eye was spinning rapidly. The baleful chi around his body turned into blood-red clouds of evil. Roar! That roar seemed to be venting all the killing he had done in his life. Other than Shiran who could be protected, even the stone warrior, Feng Han, Qing Xian and the other divine transformation realm experts felt a chill under that killing chi. What kind of terrifying killing chi was that? His roar turned into blood-red sound waves that seemed to have a substantial substance and exploded among the 100,000 demon army. As soon as that explosion happened, the formation light of the demon army was immediately shattered. He stood in the vast sky of the oceanic domain and took a step forward. This step was not a sword move but the application of his demon power. As he took that step, layers of black fire waves turned into a circle of fire and spread out. Each time he took a step forward, the power of the flames became stronger. When he reached the 3rd layer, the blazing black flames gave people a feeling that they could not look at him directly. Under the spread of the black flames, the 4 early divine transformation realm experts and the 100,000 demon army were engulfed in the sea of flames that stretched 10,000 li. Shiran did not dare to open her eyes at first. However, she opened them now because she was too curious. She was originally curled up in Ning Fan's arms and felt cold. However, at this moment, she felt the scorching temperature of the flames coming from all directions. That terrifying temperature gave Shiran an illusion that as a member of the Profound Medicine clan, she would certainly die if she is burned by the flames. What a powerful flame! No wonder he could resist the Guhan. It turns out that he has this flame to protect himself. At this moment, the 3 layers of the sea of flames caused the seawater to boil. The force of his step made the earth tremble. With just a single move, the 100,000 demon army vanished into nothingness. Far away, the buried dragon city shook violently. Countless ferocious beasts soared into the sky and looked at the collapse of the front line with astonishment. A ray of light flashed in the heavenly dwelling. An elderly man in black armor who was as skinny as a match and had 2 horns on his head walked out from the heavenly dwelling. He looked at Ning Fan's direction with a cold gaze. Evil cold gu. You must be Liu Bei who was being chased by Kuan Imo, right? Humph. You didn't hide from me but came to my buried dragon city to create trouble. How dare you? Do you know what will happen to those who provoke me? I haven't been in the southern star sea for 100 years. It seems like my name has been forgotten by everyone. The two black stars in the left eye of the elderly man in black armor flickered intensely. As the black stars flickered, a black dragon might that seemed to be substantial spread out. Under this pressure, countless sea beasts trembled. Even Qing Xian, Feng Han, and the others felt an irresistible force, which made them feel a strange desire to serve the black-armored old man. The might of ancestral blood. You've only refined half a drop of ancestral blood in 100 years, huh? In other words, you only have 1.5 drops left, right? Ning Fan sneered. He put down Shiran and took a step forward. As he took a step forward, a dark purple evil aura force swept across the area within 100,000 li of the buried dragon city. The black dragon might of the elderly man in black armor crumbled just like that. Immediately, the elderly man's expression turned extremely ugly. Impossible. You also have ancestral blood. Moreover, you actually have more than me. Who exactly are you? If you can tell me a background that can make me fearful, I might let you go. The elderly man in black armor was actually afraid. A demon with such a powerful aura force must be an old ancestor of a large true spirit clan. Even if this person's cultivation base is just at the early divine transformation realm, anyone who provokes him will certainly die. Especially when the elderly man's gaze fell upon the black dragon refined corpse, he was immediately shocked. A half-step void refinement realm dragon corpse. And it's a royal black dragon. This young man dares to refine a royal black dragon into a dragon corpse. He's really audacious. However, I thought that the royal black dragons no longer exist. Although he could not figure out Ning Fan's identity, the fear he had towards Ning Fan rose for the first time. The elderly man in black armor glared at Qing Xian. It was not because he hated him for betraying the clan but because he hated him for bringing such a strong enemy to the buried dragon city. I don't need any background to kill you. Zhang Long, hand over your ancestral blood and fight me. Ning Fan said indifferently. In terms of aura force, he had already suppressed Zhang Long. It was the best time to kill him. How dare you? Two early divine transformation realm experts soared into the sky and attacked Ning Fan. However, it only made Ning Fan's eyes filled with impatience. Early divine transformation realm is not enough. As soon as he threw out his palm, the two divine transformation realm experts revealed a horrified expression and their physical bodies exploded into a mist of blood. Zhang Long was already afraid. Now that Ning Fan had come to him with such an arrogant aura force, he really did not want to compete with him. However, since Ning Fan came for the ancestral blood, Zhang Long was reluctant to hand it over. If he completely refined the 2 drops of ancestral blood in another 400 to 500 years, he could use the power of the ancestral blood to break free from his star spirit body and ascend to the demon spirit land. He could also join the dragon race and get a decent status with his bloodline. He might even have a chance to become an immortal. Although the enemy was powerful, it was impossible for Zhang Long to hand over the ancestral blood. Hee. I didn't expect that the dignified revered Zhang Long would also have a moment of fear. Do you need our help? It's you guys. The 3 elders of the southern prison country. What are you guys doing here? 1 drop of ancestral blood. The 3 of us will help you kill this young man. 3 winged old men who looked exactly the same as before showed their true forms one after another. Each of them was at the peak divine transformation realm. With the 4 of us working together, even if this young man has a half-step void refinement realm corpse, there's nothing to be afraid of. This young man also has ancestral blood. Even though it can't be extracted, devouring this young man's ancestral blood will also greatly improve your bloodline. If you work with us, you can still keep half a drop of ancestral blood and kill this young man. If you don't work with us, you won't even get a drop of ancestral blood and your clan might be wiped out by this young man. Think about it carefully. The three of them threatened him. Their threats made the black-armored old man's eyes turn grim. All right. After this is done, the three of you will get 1 drop of ancestral blood. The black-armored old man sneered. After the deed is done, it would be up to him to decide whether to give the ancestral blood or not. He decided to deal with Ning Fan first. The 3 elders of the southern prison looked at each other and sneered. First, we will work together to eliminate Ning Fan. Then, we will kill Zhang Long and devour the ancestral blood. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. No matter how many experts there are, the buried dragon city must be destroyed today. Moreover, there seems to be a peak divine transformation realm expert hiding in the dark. Are they trying to take advantage of the situation? Chapter 307. Roar. The appearance of the southern dungeon's 3 elders greatly boosted the morale of Dragon Burial City. Roar. Countless sea beasts raised their heads and roared at the sky. They stared at Ning Fan and the others coldly as if they were dead men. From their point of view, the fact that a mere early divine transformation realm demon beast dared to come to the Dragon Burial City and cause trouble was purely courting death. Roar. All of their roars were filled with killing intent and auras. Millions of sea beasts crawled out of their nests and surrounded the 21 experts. Battle cries echoed in the sky. Millions of flames lit up in the sea of stars, dyeing thousands of kilometers of the sea red. These 1 million fire beacons shocked countless members of the oceanic race. These fire beacons were the signal for buried Dragon City to kill their enemies. Even when the bear demon attacked Dragon Burial City 1,000 years ago, it did not light up 1 million fire beacons in the city. Who is it? Who was it that infuriated Dragon Burial City to the point of mobilizing millions of sea beasts to fight to the death? No one knew that the person who pointed his sword at venerable Dragon Burial was just a skinny young man. The flames of war burned, the sea of stars was in chaos, and the color of blood dyed it. However, in Ning Fan's eyes, the devil flames were much crazier and fiercer than the flames of the beacon. Even if you have 1 million demon soldiers, even if you have 4 peak soul formation cultivators, you can't back down at this step. Even if there were billions of sea beasts in this star ocean, Ning Fan would not hesitate to fight an army of billions of sea beasts alone since they were his enemies. Roar. 1 million sea beasts, 1 million fire beacons, formed into a roar filled with monstrous killing intent. Nearly 30,000 sea beasts stepped forward and self-detonated their demonic bodies, fusing the power of their self-detonation into the roar. Death warriors. This Zhang Long was indeed a formidable person. Most of the soul formation stage subordinates were useless, but none of the low-level sea beasts were afraid of death. All of the power of the self-detonation, the power of the demon blood and the power of the roaring killing intent formed a massive blood-red wave that rushed towards Ning Fan's head. This gigantic wave was comparable to the sure-kill attack of a half-step void refinement realm expert. This huge wave had once caused the old bear to retreat at the mere sight of it. So what if you have a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse? This old man has 1 million demon army, how can you compare? Buried Dragon laughed loudly. What do I have to fear an army of 1 million demons? Star positioning plate, appear. Star lamp. Light. He patted his storage pouch and took out the star compass. With a point of his finger, starlight formed into a formation diagram, and the star diagram covered 100,000 li. With a single word, the 30,000 lanterns on the star map lit up one after another, lighting up 5,000 silver lanterns. At the moment when the lights were lit up, Ning Fan stepped on the star diagram and held the starlight in his hand. At this moment, he was the lord of the 30,000 starlights. Layers of starlight walls rose from all directions. The combined attack of the million sea beasts could easily tear apart a normal peak soul formation cultivator, but they couldn't break through the starlight walls. What kind of magical treasure is this? Its defense is actually so heaven-defying. Zhang Long's expression changed. Ning Fan has such a defensive treasure. In addition to the golden flame chariot that has a heaven-defying speed, wouldn't he be invincible against those below the void refinement realm and innate realm? However, Zhang Long did not understand why Ning Fan, who was standing within the undefeatable starlight, did not launch any attacks. It was as if he was waiting for all of the enemy's attacks to be completely disintegrated by the star formation. What is he waiting for? Buried Dragon's aged eyes suddenly widened. After the combined attack of the 1,000,000 sea beasts was devoured, the star formation started to become strange. The array light was tranquil, but the killing intent in the array was getting thicker and thicker. He was waiting for the formation light to counterattack. All of his patience was for the sake of accumulating his strength. All of his defense was to deflect the strongest attack. When the aura force of the formation light merged with Ning Fan, he took a step forward. His demon eyes shone brightly and he shouted a word. Reverse. The star positioning plate did not only know how to defend. Its most powerful ability, which made Wei Xian, a former immortal formation master, click his tongue in admiration, was the ability to deflect the enemy's attack. You have 1,000,000 demon army, I will go against it with a single formation. You are a supreme immortal emperor, I will go against it with a single wing. You are the fate of the heavenly Tao, I will go against it with a single life. Kill. Ning Fan stepped on the formation diagram and roared at the sky. The formation light accumulated all the attacks of the 1,000,000 sea beasts and exploded at this moment. Millions of starlight devil swords poured down like pear blossoms in a storm. Countless sea beasts revealed a terrified expression as they were slashed into a bloody pulp by the star devil sword shadow. The 1,000,000 sea beasts were in chaos and the formation was broken. At this moment, Ning Fan passed the star positioning plate to she ran and took a step forward, rushing towards Zhang Long. With the star positioning plate, no one could hurt she ran. As for the 3 elders of the southern prison and the spirit-severing realm cultivators of Long Cheng, they would be handled by Stone Warrior and the other puppets. Die, Zhang Long! With a roar, the purple star in his left eye flashed and his ancestral blood seemed to be burning. The might of the 4 drops of ancestral blood made the 3 elders of the southern prison terrified. They could feel that Ning Fan had the ancestral blood in his body, but they did not expect it to be this powerful. Especially Zhang Long, who was at the center of the aura force, he was like a lonely boat standing in the middle of a vast ocean. Insignificant and petty, half a drop of ancestral blood was nothing in front of Ning Fan's 4 drops of ancestral blood. Without giving Zhang Long any chance to think, Ning Fan's fist was like a landslide. The shadow of Fu Li appeared and landed on his chest with the momentum of overturning the sea. His speed was too fast that Zhang Long could not see the shadow of the fist. He could only rely on his intuition to face the fist. Black dragon scales densely covered his fist. Zhang Long attacked with all his strength without showing any mercy. In terms of body refinement realm, he was at the 4th level of Jade Life realm, which was 2 small realms higher than Ning Fan. Normally, a casual attack from Zhang Long was enough to kill a cultivator at the 2nd level of Jade Life realm. If he attacked with all his strength, a late divine transformation realm expert would be smashed into pieces. However, the result of the clash of their fists caught Zhang Long off guard. Ning Fan was obviously at the 2nd level of Jade Life realm, but the strength of his punch was comparable to that of a cultivator at the 3rd level of Jade Life realm. It made Zhang Long retreat for tens of steps before he could neutralize the force of the punch. Moreover, quite a number of dragon scales on his fist were broken. As for Ning Fan, he broke his demon body and turned into a black shadow the moment the force of the punch came into contact with Zhang Long's fist. As the black shadow condensed, the purple shadow reappeared. Ning Fan returned to his demon body without a single scratch on him. Moreover, he did not give Zhang Long any time to rest and threw out another punch furiously. Every time the force of their fists collided, Zhang Long would take a step back and Ning Fan's body would break. One punch would break the body and one step would condense the body. Each step would break the body and each step would condense the body. Ning Fan's fists were like a rainstorm. His eyes were filled with madness. He was like a ferocious dog that wanted to kill anyone it sees. In just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, they had already exchanged hundreds of blows. However, Zhang Long only used defensive techniques in these hundreds of punches. Rumbling sounds reverberated throughout the sea of stars. Every time their fists collided, it would cause the hollow space to collapse. Even Zhang Long could no longer relax. His dragon scales were broken and his defense had collapsed. Gradually, injuries were left on his body. Moreover, every time Zhang Long took a step back, his injuries would worsen. On the other hand, every time Ning Fan condensed his demon body, his aura force would become even crazier. His killing intent could not be extinguished no matter what. Everything in this world was just for the sake of exterminating all of his enemies. Incarnation. Who can hurt you when you have an incarnation? Zhang Long was afraid. Ning Fan had cultivated the incarnation technique. No matter how many times he breaks his demon body, he would not be able to kill him unless it is a fatal blow. After these hundreds of punches, black blood kept flowing out from the corner of Zhang Long's mouth. Such a desperate way of fighting had gradually infuriated him. His eyes turned grim. His gaze swept across the battlefield of the Dragon City. There were less than 700,000 sea beasts on his side. There were 3 late Divine Transformation Realm experts, 3 mid-Divine Transformation Realm experts and 7 early Divine Transformation Realm experts. On the other hand, the enemy had Qing Xian and the other 2 surrendered generals, Feng Han and the other 2 demon generals, 10 black puppets and Shi Ran who was controlling 5,000 star lamps and guarding the spiritual puppets. In just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, 300,000 sea beasts had fallen. 1 mid-Divine Transformation Realm expert and 6 early Divine Transformation Realm experts had died. On the other hand, 4 of the enemy's early Divine Transformation Realm spiritual puppets were severely injured. The battle was in a stalemate and the situation was not optimistic. On the other side of the battlefield, the 3 elders of the southern prison were displaying their own techniques. However, under the attacks of the Black Dragon refined corpses controlled by Stone Warrior, they gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. Zhang Long's heart sank. The demon army of 1,000,000 soldiers could not win. He could not win. The 3 elders of the southern prison were also showing signs of defeat. Could it be that his demon army of 1,000,000 soldiers and the help of the 3 elders of the southern prison were still not a match for a mere early Divine Transformation Realm expert? A wave of killing intent rose in Zhang Long's eyes. He knew that if he does not risk his life like Ning Fan, the Dragon City would probably be destroyed today. He was unwilling to admit it, but he had to admit that Ning Fan's group was indeed a strong enemy even though they did not bring many people with them. He must risk his life. So what if you have an incarnation? Do you think I can't break your incarnation technique? Ancestral blood technique, 5 Graves Dragon technique. Zhang Long stretched out his claw and turned into the form of a dragon claw. A gigantic shadow of a black dragon appeared behind him. His 5 fingers were burning with black blood. Black flames soared to the sky in the starry sky. Wind as the wood dragon, earth as the earth dragon, lightning as the gold dragon, flame as the fire dragon and ice as the water dragon. When the 5 dragons die, the black dragon will be born. When the 5 elements die, the 5 graves will be born. Every time Zhang Long chanted, black flames would condense into an ancient tombstone above Ning Fan's head in the starry sky. It was as if it was going to smash Ning Fan's head. That tombstone was 1,000 zhang tall. It was filled with ghostly qi. In the beginning, there was only 1 tombstone. However, in the end, Zhang Long condensed a total of 5 tombstones. Each of them had the shadow of a flying dragon. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. This tombstone technique was obviously a demonic technique. Moreover, it was a demonic technique that was activated by his ancestral blood. Even though it was only at the peak Divine Transformation realm, a single attack from his ancestral blood was certainly a few times stronger than the combined attack of 1,000,000 sea beasts. As the purple star in his left eye rotated, Ning Fan saw through the true terror of this technique. This tombstone was divided into the 5 elements and it coincided with the heavenly secrets of life and death. If one is hit by this tombstone and their demon body is destroyed, they would not have the chance to reform their incarnation. Their demon souls would be sucked away and sealed by the tombstone. The expressions of the 3 elders of the southern prison changed drastically. These 5 tombstones coincided with the heavenly secrets of the 5 elements. They possessed the great power to seal demon souls. Even if the 3 of them joined forces, they could at most destroy 3 of the tombstones. At least 2 of them would be devoured and sealed by the remaining 2 tombstones. This technique is too strong. Those below the half-step void refinement realm won't be able to withstand it. It's no wonder that Zhang Long could stay alive from Old Bear's attack. With this technique, who among the peak divine transformation realm experts would be a match for him? The 3 of them felt bitter. Initially, they planned to eliminate Ning Fan and then work together to kill Zhang Long and seize the ancestral blood. Now, it seemed that not only Ning Fan and the others were strong, but even Zhang Long was also a ruthless person. It was really a mistake for the 3 of them to get involved in this mess. They were afraid that they would not get any benefits in the end and would get themselves into trouble instead. However, the 3 of them did not have the time to regret. They had already offended Ning Fan. Now, the only thing they could do was to use all their strength to kill Ning Fan to avoid offending Zhang Long further. This tombstone. There's no doubt about it. It's the ancestral blood secret technique of the Black Dragon clan that has been lost for generations. Even though it looks like it's real, its destructive power is enough to severely injure a half-step void refinement realm expert. Liu Bei, don't lose. She activated the star positioning plate to defend herself, but her eyes were filled with worry. The same worry also appeared in Stone Warrior's eyes. As a puppet of the upper world, he had participated in the war between realms. Naturally, he knew how terrifying the ancestral blood secret technique was. If the ancestral blood technique is used by a heavenly demon old ancestor, it would be enough to destroy a planet. Even if it's used by a peak divine transformation realm expert like Zhang Long, those below the half-step void refinement realm would not be able to withstand it. I have to control this black dragon refined corpse and help him. Stone Warrior's eyes turned cold. He stepped on the black dragon and wanted to help Ning Fan resist the tombstone technique. However, the 3 elders of the southern prison saw through his plan. They chuckled coldly and blocked his path of retreat. Our battle hasn't ended yet. Are you trying to run away? The 3 elders of the southern prison were not a match for the black dragon refined corpse. However, they could still stop Stone Warrior from helping Ning Fan. From their point of view, as long as they can stop Stone Warrior for a while, Zhang Long would certainly be able to kill Ning Fan. Then, they would split into 2 and kill Stone Warrior and the Black Dragon. Delay. The 3 elders just need to delay for a while. Even though they would not dare to ask Zhang Long for the ancestral blood, they would certainly gain a lot of benefits. Damn it! Stone Warrior was furious, but he could not break free from the entanglement of the 3 elders. I really can't understand why a puppet of your grade who can control such a powerful refined corpse would listen to the command of an early spirit-severing realm ant. The 3 elders of the southern prison sneered. You called him an ant? Stone Warrior's eyes were filled with sarcasm. Ant? How many people had mocked Ning Fan for being an ant? What happened in the end? Before this, Stone Warrior also did not expect that Ning Fan, who had a nascent soul realm cultivation base, would be able to capture him, a dignified spirit-severing realm cultivator. Before this, Stone Warrior also did not expect that Ning Fan could roam the external endless sea and enter the secret realm alone without attaining the spirit-severing realm. Before this, Stone Warrior also did not expect that Ning Fan would be able to dominate the Luoyun continent once he attains the spirit-severing realm. Now, he could even make a name for himself in the entire Star Sea. This kind of person only got to where he was today by killing. He had stepped over the corpses of countless geniuses and fought against countless old monsters. If this kind of person is an ant, then who else in this world is not an ant? You will regret calling him an ant. Stone Warrior looked at the three elders with disdain as if he was looking at three dead people. The star sea will be turned upside down because of him alone. Stone Warrior did not say anything else because a gust of violently purple golden wind had already risen from his body. If the 5 burial dragon technique borrowed the power of life and death to seal a demon's soul, then, this purple wind mist would use a higher level of samsara power which was even more powerful than life and death. Samsara. A wave of indifferent aura force formed in Ning Fan's eyes. A gust of golden purple wind and sand swept across the dragon city. Looking at the 5 ancient tombs that were hovering in the sky, Ning Fan made a grabbing motion with his hand. All the spiritual chi in the ocean within 100,000 li was gathered into his palm. Soul extraction. It's actually the soul extraction technique. This kid not only knows the incarnation technique but also the soul extraction technique. Zhang Long's face was filled with shock. However, he gritted his teeth and changed his hand seal, causing the 5 giant tombs to fall at the same time. Naturally, he could see that the golden purple wind and sand were powerful. However, he could also see that Ning Fan's Tao was not in this technique. No matter how powerful a technique that was not integrated with Ning Fan's Tao heart was, it was just a facade. It was enough to instantly kill a late spirit severing realm expert, but it would be difficult to kill a peak spirit severing realm expert. It would be even more difficult to break his 5 burial dragon technique. The force of the 5 tombs falling at the same time shattered the void within 1,000 li. However, Ren Wumu's aura was like the sky. Ning Fan did not even lift his head. He closed his eyes and swallowed the earth soul. His magic power increased all the way to the late spirit severing realm. In front of his eyes, he recalled the ordinary life in Wu country, the humiliating days in the all-pleasure sect, the blood sea cultivation in the demon sinister forest and the patience and compromise he had when he traveled around various countries. In the end, all the memories stopped at the snowstorm in 7 Apricot City and the eternal smile of Jiha. The golden purple wind and sand in the surroundings began to change. Ning Fan stood under the plum tree that was condensed by devil chi. On the plum tree, the dark red blood plum blossoms that were condensed by the rain intent bloomed quietly. At this moment, he opened his eyes and raised his head. His gaze was as deep as the void as he looked at Zhang Long. This gaze was as deep as the vast starry sky. It wanted to suck Zhang Long's mind into his gaze. What kind of gaze is that? Zhang Long's expression changed drastically. At this moment, all the golden purple wind and sand turned into black snowflakes. Each snowflake was different and had its own trajectory. Each snowflake was pure black, formed from the power of the void. The wind and snow swept across 100,000 li. However, it carried a trace of loneliness and desolation. In the loneliness and desolation, there was a trace of deep attachment. The loneliness was the loneliness of the journey. The desolation was the exhaustion of the blood sea. The attachment was the unforgettable face in the snowstorm of 7 Apricot City. Shiha, I miss you. At this moment, Ning Fan waved his sleeve. At this moment, a strange black wind and snow swept across the dragon city. No one could stop it. At this moment, the 5 imposing eyes were frozen and shattered in the wind and snow. At this moment, Zhang Long's eyes were filled with shock. His magic technique was broken. He took a few steps back before he could stabilize himself. He coughed out black blood. Half of the blood had been frozen into ice. What? What magic technique is this? He did not understand. Zhang Long was destined not to understand the profoundness of this technique. It was because he had never seen the face of samsara. He had never seen the Tao of the strongest expert in this world, immortal Emperor Zido. The 3 elders of the southern prison were afraid. In this wind and snow, the 3 of them had the feeling that they would be devoured by the wind and snow. Insignificant and lowly. Even if you are a true immortal, you will still have to bow down to my samsara. The immortal emperor's understanding of samsara was to let everything return to dust and dust return to dust. He would forget everything in the past and let everything turn into dust. However, Ning Fan could not forget everything. He had too much reluctance, too many attachments. If reincarnation wanted to take away his true love, he would seal reincarnation in ice for all eternity. Wind and snow finger. Frozen samsara. Ning Fan pointed his finger. An unimaginable chill rushed into Zhang Long's body and soul, leaving him without a master. As he pointed his finger, Zhang Long was terrified to find out that his blood, demon power, sea of consciousness and demon soul were frozen. Every inch of his flesh and blood was frozen in the wind and snow. He was terrified to find out that Ning Fan was walking towards him step by step. However, he could not escape or move because he was already a piece of ice. He was even more terrified to find out that the 100,000 li of buried dragon city had been frozen by Ning Fan's finger. With a flap of his demon wings, Ning Fan appeared in front of Zhang Long. Everything happened in the blink of an eye and he struck with his palm. Zhang Long's frozen body turned into jet black ice shards under this palm strike and he died. The wind and snow finger broke the ancestral blood technique and killed the city lord of buried dragon city. The wind and snow finger almost used up all of Ning Fan's strength. At this moment, it was difficult for him to even move. After Venerable Dragon Burial was killed, the remaining sea beasts of the Dragon City were all terrified. None of them had expected that Venerable Dragon Burial, who could dominate the Southern Star Sea and fight against a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert, would die in Ning Fan's hands just like that. Zhang Long's storage pouch fell into Ning Fan's hands. Within it, there was a dark golden jade bottle which contained 1.5 drops of black dragon ancestral blood that had yet to be devoured. The 3 elders of the southern prison were already frightened to death. However, as Zhang Long died and Ning Fan's magic power was exhausted, the 3 of them began to covet the ancestral blood. The 2 and 3 elders tried their best to stop the black dragon. As for the eldest, he flapped his wings and rushed towards Ning Fan recklessly. "Brat, you're strong to be able to kill Zhang Long. However, you have already exhausted all of your demon power. It's as easy as flipping my palm to kill you now. Give me the ancestral blood." Boom! The palm strike landed on Ning Fan's body, but it only dispersed the layers of black shadows. The black shadows condensed again. Ning Fan stared at the eldest with eyes full of killing intent. "You want the ancestral blood?" His gaze made the eldest of the southern prison's soul tremble. Although he knew that Ning Fan had lost all of his combat strength, he still could not suppress his fear towards Ning Fan. "Give me the ancestral blood. Otherwise, no matter how powerful your techniques are, you will definitely die under the pursuit of my southern prison country." "I will die." "Ridiculous. Why should I give you the ancestral blood? Who do you think you are?" Ning Fan's eyes were filled with madness. "It's not enough. It's still not enough. I want to kill until no one dares to chase after me anymore." Ning Fan crushed the jade bottle and consumed a drop of golden black dragon ancestral blood. At the next moment, black flames spread out from Ning Fan's body. At this moment, his aura force was comparable to a half-step Void Refinement Realm expert. Blood ignition. He actually ignited the ancestral blood of the black dragon that he had painstakingly obtained. He wanted to use the power of this ancestral blood to sweep across the entire Star Sea. Not good. The eldest of the southern prison was shocked. He's a madman. He's a madman who is willing to ignite his ancestral blood. Anyone who receives the gift of ancestral blood would refine it into the power of their bloodline to improve their innate potential. However, this person did the opposite and ignited the extremely precious ancestral blood. He's a madman. I can't afford to offend him. I must run. After igniting the ancestral blood, the current Ning Fan was enveloped by the aura force of the dragon ancestor. He was invincible in the Star Sea. Second brother, third brother, run now. Trying to run. It's too late. Ning Fan's entire body was covered in black flames. As he took a step forward, black flames appeared out of nowhere and engulfed the leader of the southern prison. In an instant, his physical body turned into ashes. The 2 old men and the 3 old men did not even have the time to grieve when they saw their eldest brother die. At this moment, Ning Fan had ignited his ancestral blood, giving them a feeling of powerlessness that they could not defeat. He had to escape. In a flash, the 2 of them flew towards the south. Ning Fan sneered. He did not even look at the 2 of them. His eyes fell on the void space at the side and he shouted coldly. "You, get out here!" A furious roar shook the void. A figure that was hiding in a panic fell out from within and immediately begged for mercy. "I am the Grand Elder of the Ghost Head race from the Army Destroyer Star Sea, Gue Chen. I beg for your mercy." This person was already trembling endlessly. Buried Dragon died, Southern Prison Boss died, this person ignited his ancestral blood. Before his ancestral blood disappeared, this person killed peak deity transformation experts like crushing ants. Ning Fan did not even look at him. He directly waved his hand and planted a demon seal in Gue Chen's sea of consciousness. However, Gue Chen did not dare to resist. He could only obey and let Ning Fan plant the demon seal on him. He could not resist. If he resisted, he would be killed. Who asked him to hide in this place and get ready to take advantage of the situation when both parties are fighting to the death? The sea beasts in this place will live if they follow me to battle. If they don't, they will die. Ning Fan's cold voice reverberated across the buried dragon city mercilessly. 3 days later, on the Star Island, the old bear was holding the information in his hand. His jaw dropped in shock. That kid buried dragon is dead? It was Liu Bei who led the others to destroy it. Liu Bei, Liu Bei. The old bear crushed the jade slip. Ning Fan's image was imprinted on it. Damn it! This malefic star is Liu Bei. This malefic star has only been here for a few days and he has already destroyed the entire buried dragon city. Why is he so awesome? Chapter 308. The old bear was afraid of Ning Fan's refined corpse, his ancestral blood and Wei Xian who was a void fragmentation realm expert. However, it was the first time he was afraid of Ning Fan's strength. At least, the old bear knew that it was possible for him to defeat the buried Dragon King but it would be extremely difficult for him to kill it. Ning Fan could do what he could not. It seemed like he had underestimated this person in the past. The demon bear man Shan pondered in silence. Eventually, his honest face showed a determined expression and he passed the order. Pass my order. Cancel the plan to attack the 4 sacred demons. What? Cancel the plan? Kun Mo and the others intended to attack our Star Island. Why don't we counterattack first and defeat them one by one? Are we waiting for the 4 forces to gather and besiege the Star Island? One of the desolate generals was confused. They won't be besieging the Star Island. Just wait and see. Will they attack the Star Island in order to protect themselves? They won't dare to do so even if they lend them their courage. I wonder, how many of the 4 sacred demons will be left in the end? In the buried dragon city of the southern Star Sea, 300,000 sea beasts were subdued. 2 late divine transformation realm experts and 1 mid-divine transformation realm expert were subdued. The rest were all killed. Ning Fan waved his sleeves and condensed their demon blood and demon cores into blood crystals and swallowed them all. When Qing Xian and the other surrendered generals saw the ruins of the Dragon City, they all sighed with emotion. Luckily, they surrendered fast enough to protect their clansmen. Besides, they also understood that after a short rest, the demon army of the Dragon City would be under Ning Fan's command. They would be his strength to sweep across the entire Star Sea. Stone Warrior was busy collecting demon souls while she obediently returned the star positioning plate to Ning Fan. The scenes of slaughter made her originally weak heart more determined. However, she still did not dare to face the sea of blood and Ning Fan did not force her. Liu Bei used to be like this in the past, going through the sea of blood again and again. She sighed. The small grievances she suffered in the past were nothing compared to the hardships Ning Fan had gone through. Recalling the times when she cried and was scolded by Ning Fan, she could not help but feel that her past self was a little funny. It's time for me to be more mature. Ning Fan's demon power had been exhausted, but he had already ignited his ancestral blood. As long as the blood flames were not extinguished, he would have inexhaustible demon power. Currently, his demon power had reached the half-step void refinement realm after burning his ancestral blood. He had to exterminate all his enemies before his demon blood ran dry. Ning Fan did not reorganize himself at all. He just plundered all the spiritual herbs in the dragon burial city and carried Shi-Ran in his arms. Flapping his purple wings, he soared into the sky. Behind him, 300,000 sea beasts and 19 soul formation cultivators followed closely. The dragon burial city's sea region, which spanned thousands of miles, had long been lit up by the flames of war. Countless small forces rushed over and watched, trying to find out what was happening in Dragon Burial City. However, few people dared to stay here when they saw the huge monster army and the terrifying semi-god realm cultivators. It was especially so for Ning Fan, who was charging at the front of the three armies. His demon form had purple wings which made him look exceptionally demonic. Black flames were burning around his body in a strange manner. Those who were not involved did not know that Ning Fan had ignited his blood. After flapping his wings, he had already flown 100,000 li away. At this moment, Ning Fan, who had ignited his blood, possessed the strength of a half-step void refinement realm expert and the speed of a void refinement realm expert. Ning Fan took the lead and left the Dragon Burial Sea area, heading straight to the border of the southern prison country. With their terrifying formation, no one in the Dragon Burial Sea area would dare to provoke them. However, as soon as they entered the country, they were immediately attacked by countless sea beasts. Some of these sea beasts came for Ning Fan's evil cold goo, while some came for the ancestral blood. The two elders of the southern prison fled back to the country and immediately sent out a request for help to countless sea regions. They claimed that Ning Fan had destroyed the Dragon City and obtained a drop of half-ancestral blood from the Dragon Burial Sea area. Naturally, the two of them concealed the fact that Ning Fan had ignited his blood. Otherwise, who would be foolish enough to help the southern prison country fight against a madman who ignited his ancestral blood for the sake of ancestral blood that no longer existed? The evil cold goo could allow a cultivator's spirit sense to break through to the peak divine transformation realm. For the sake of the evil cold goo, there would at most be peak divine transformation realm forces chasing after Ning Fan. However, for the ancestral blood, all half-step void refinement realm experts would come to this place. Countless old monsters who lived in seclusion rushed to the southern prison day and night. Some of them were even old monsters from other galaxies. Ning Fan showed no mercy to these people. He killed all of them. Urgent reports spread like snowflakes. The southern prison had already turned into a sea of blood. The Flying Fish clan and the other 6 small clans had gathered 31 divine transformation realm experts and an army of 1 million demons. The strongest among them was even a peak divine transformation realm expert. However, they were all turned into ashes by Ning Fan in just 9 steps. The Red Bone Country and the other 5 great demon countries had gathered 42 wild beasts and an army of 1.5 million demons. However, they were all wiped out by Ning Fan with a single sword strike. As for the reinforcements of the Eastern Sea Star Dragon and the Western Sea Whale Devil, there were 17 wild generals and an army of 700,000 demons. Ning Fan brutally transformed them into a gigantic demon form that was nearly 5,000 zhang tall and devoured all the demon beasts alive. Army Destroyer Star Ocean, 7 Killing Star Ocean, Ning Fan had already carried out a bloody massacre for 6 days. None of the enemies who stood in his way were spared. The cold chi on his body mixed with the ancestral blood flame. On top of his head, there was a cloud of blood baleful chi that was condensed from the blood of more than 300 wild beasts. Behind him, countless sea beasts in the Dragon Burial City were trembling in fear. Along the way, they did not need to do anything at all. As Ning Fan burned his ancestral blood even more crazily, he was almost at the void refinement realm at this moment. His name is Liu Bei. He comes from Luoyun. He is a devil lord who bathes the entire star ocean in blood. We must run. We must not provoke him. He ate millions of sea beasts alive. He is a lunatic and a devil. All kinds of rumors spread across the star ocean. In the end, those forces that did not have peak divine transformation realm experts did not dare to provoke Ning Fan anymore. All of them retreated from the southern prison country. Even if Ning Fan really has ancestral blood in his body, no one would dare to snatch it from him. The mountains of corpses and seas of blood had proven that this man was not to be provoked. He is a lunatic. He is a devil lord who takes pleasure in killing. Only Shiran, who was curled up in Ning Fan's arms, knew that Ning Fan did not feel any joy at the moment. Killing is never a joyful thing. However, there are too many times when you have no other choice. However, if your heart becomes soft and your sword becomes timid, you will not be able to protect anything. However, if you take half a step back, the person behind you will be hurt. He is actually a gentle person. Shiran felt safe and at ease when she smelled Ning Fan's manly scent. She knew that this man would not let her suffer any harm. The southern prison province was currently in a state of chaos. In the main hall, the 2 old men and 3 old men of the southern prison were like ants on a hot pan. Naturally, they had heard about Ning Fan killing people by burning his blood. All of the forces that were not weaker than the southern prison country or the dragon burial city were easily annihilated by Ning Fan. That man was approaching them step by step. However, the reinforcements that the 2 of them had invited had yet to arrive. Damn it. Why haven't the Army Vanquisher Star Lord and the 7 Murders Star Lord arrived yet? Didn't they agree to help us kill Liu Bei? The hands of the 2 old men were trembling. Today was the 7th day since the Dragon City was destroyed. Today. Ning Fan was already very close to the province. They probably want us to perish together with Liu Bei. Both of them are the Star Lords of their respective star seas. Why would they care about the life and death of the demon clans from foreign seas like us? To put it nicely, they are here to help us. But to put it bluntly, they are here for the ancestral blood. The 2 of them exchanged glances and saw the fear in each other's eyes. In the worst-case scenario, the 2 of them could only abandon the huge foundation of the southern prison country and flee for their lives. The Star Sea was a vast place. If they hide, would that Liu Bei be able to find them no matter how powerful he is? Anyway, the chaos in the southern prison had already caused countless sea beasts to flee in fear. Now, the name of Liu Bei's devil had reached a terrifying level in this Star Sea. The 2 words Devil Venerable had been given to Liu Bei. Reporting to the king. Even the 400,000 demon army of the Zijin country was annihilated. The king of the Zijin country, who was at the half-step void refinement realm. Rumor has it that he was eaten alive by Liu Bei. King, please give us an order on how to fight against the Devil Venerable Liu Bei. A desolate general entered the palace in shock and reported. This information made the 2 old men even more terrified. What? The king of the Zijin country is dead? Doesn't that mean that Liu Bei has already attacked the area within 100,000 li of the province? This is bad. We must run away immediately. How could the 2 of them still have the leisure to pack up their valuables? They immediately rushed out of the imperial palace and turned into rays of light, fleeing towards the west. However, just as they left the palace, a purple demon shadow appeared in the sky above the sea palace while holding Shiran in his arms. 100,000 li was just a distance that he could cover in an instant. Liu Bei. How did you get here so quickly? This is bad. Quickly activate the defensive grand formation of the province. It was already too late to run away. At this moment, the 2 of them were in despair. They could only hope that they could delay Ning Fan's footsteps with the grand formation while they waited for the 2 Star Lords of the Alien Sea to come to their rescue. Even though they were as timid as mice, they were still peak divine transformation realm experts. Even though they were self-harming, they still managed to activate the formation light of the province of the southern prison country in just a few seconds. This formation light was a peak divine transformation realm formation. Moreover, the two elders of the southern prison had poured their magic power and sense power into the formation without holding back. At the moment when the formation light rose, countless sea beasts outside the province cried and knelt on the ground, begging the two elders to activate the formation light and let them into the formation to take refuge. However, the two elders of the southern prison were already having a hard time protecting themselves. How could they activate the formation light and let them in? The army of the dragon burial ground had already expanded to 2 million people, and there were 43 divine transformation realm experts among them. Among the 43 people, there were even 3 peak divine transformation realm experts. Most of them were surrendered generals. Under the demon restriction, they did not dare to disobey Ning Fan's orders. Gui Chen and the other 2 peak divine transformation realm experts were attacking the formation light with all their might. The 3 of them were the lords of a region in the Star Sea. However, they were just Ning Fan's slaves now. The 2 elders of the southern prison felt their scalps go numb. Even when the southern prison country was at its strongest, it did not have such a powerful army of sea beasts. Such a powerful force was actually obtained through slaughtering and plundering. We can't leave the city. We can't leave the city even if we die. Once we leave the city, we will die without a burial place if we are attacked by these divine transformation realm experts. The 2 of them began to damage themselves desperately just to increase the defensive power of the Grand Formation. Inwardly, they could only pray for the 2 star lords of the alien sea to appear as soon as possible. However, their expectations soon turned into despair. It was because they saw Ning Fan standing on the formation light in the sky above the province. His eyes were filled with impatience. All of you, step back. Yes. Gui Chen and the other 2 peak divine transformation realm experts immediately retreated in fear. They did not dare to refute him. However, just as they left the territory of the province, a strong aura force was already forming on Ning Fan's body. Blood ignition. After igniting a drop of half-ancestral blood, I almost have Void Refinement Realm strength now. Void Refinement Realm. So this is the Void Refinement Realm? However, after coming into contact with the power of this realm, I finally know how far away I am from Moksha Sovereign. Moksha Sovereign. In Ning Fan's mind, he recalled the terrifying scene of Moksha Sovereign destroying Ning City all by himself. That finger, the 1,000-mile bone finger, was enough to crush everything. I'll give the 2 of you one last chance. In 3 breaths of time, get out of the southern dungeon and become my slaves. If you do that, you won't die. Ning Fan's words were as cold as ice. His words made the 2 elders of the southern prison struggle, but they were not willing to be slaves. They were lucky enough to escape. Liu Bei. Don't be arrogant. When Pajuan and 7 Kills Starlord arrive, you'll definitely die. 3 breaths have passed. Ning Fan no longer said anything. The yin-yang flame burned at the tip of his fingers. All of a sudden, all 5 of his fingers were ablaze. That day, Moksha Sovereign used the white bone flame to condense the fire finger. Today, I will use the 9 types of heavenly frost and earthly fire to condense the fire palm. Die. With a single palm strike, the Black Lotus Corpse fire transformed into a huge flaming palm print that stretched for hundreds of miles. This palm print easily shattered the formation light of the southern prison. The palm print landed on the southern prison province. At this moment, the province which was 100,000 li collapsed, the ground cracked and the rivers flowed in reverse. The province of a country was razed to the ground just like that. The 2 elders of the southern prison who were at the center of the attack were filled with regret the moment the palm print appeared. The profoundness of this palm print was definitely not a divine transformation realm magic technique. It was at least a mortal void realm magic technique. Ah! Their screams were drowned by the palm print. In just an instant, the two of them together with the southern prison were forever erased from the history of the greedy wolf Star Ocean. Destroying the southern prison with a palm. Gui Chen's eyes were filled with fear. Even the strongest expert in the sea region where he lived, the Pejuan Star Lord, might not be able to deliver such a powerful palm strike. One should know that the two Star Lords were true void refinement realm experts. After destroying the southern prison with a single palm strike, Ning Fan did not even look at the ruins of the southern prison. He just raised his head and stared coldly at a certain direction. Then, he stepped on the void space. As he stepped on the ground, cracks spread along the footprints, shaking the sea currents. One of the two figures wore a bitter smile while the other one wore a cold expression. Both of them looked slightly disheveled. They were actually sent flying out of the void space by Ning Fan's foot. Pejuan Star Lord, 7 Slaughter Star Lord. The two of you have been spying on this place for a long time. Do you want to become my enemy? Humph. One of the burly men who carried a sword on his back coldly harumphed. However, his eyes were filled with fear and he did not dare to attack Ning Fan. As for the other person who wore a scholar's crown, he let out a dry cough with a bitter smile, as if he was reminding the burly man with the sword. Then, he cupped his fists at Ning Fan and said, testing him with words. Revered Devil Liu Bei, you really live up to your reputation. I'm afraid that palm strike was imitated from some void fragmentation realm old monster, right? So what if it is? Hee hee. The ancestral blood of the true spirit, the half-step void refinement realm refined corpse of the black dragon of the royal family, the puppet of the northern heaven and a void fragmentation realm background. Your identity is a little mysterious. Whether I'm mysterious or not has nothing to do with you. If you want to become my enemy, feel free to attack me. However, I can't guarantee that the two of you won't die. Hee hee. You must be joking, Your Excellency. The young man with the scholar's crown seemed friendly, but he was actually trying to probe Ning Fan's identity with his words. Moreover, he was secretly forming hand seals in his long sleeves, using some kind of secret technique to sense a trace of void fragmentation realm chi from Ning Fan's body. It's the void fragmentation realm chi that was left recently. This young man really has a void fragmentation realm background. The burly man with the scholar's crown transmitted his voice to the burly man with the sword. What? If that's the case, are we going to kill him? Kill him? For what? 2 drops of ancestral blood have been ignited and burned by him. What's the benefit of killing him? It's not wise to offend a void fragmentation realm expert for no reason. Besides, I have a feeling that if this young man fights to the death, he will have more powerful means. The young man's eyes were solemn. Even with his void refinement realm cultivation base, he could feel a sense of danger from Ning Fan. Of course, he did not know that Ning Fan still had a rogue devil on him. Even if Ning Fan could not completely control the rogue devil now, he would still dare to perish together with the void fragmentation realm expert if he fights to the death. This young man is very dangerous. Have you ever seen an early spirit severing realm expert who could massacre a star sea? This person can be befriended but not offended. The young man with a scholarly hat reminded the burly man. Then, he took out a jade slip and imprinted some kind of spirit sense on it. Then, he threw it to Ning Fan and cupped his fists. I've offended you by spying on you just now. My name is Pejun. This person is Chi Sha. Even though his words are fierce, he doesn't have any hostility towards you. This jade slip is the compensation that I've carved for spying on you. I'm sure that it contains the secret information about the greedy wolf Star Lord. It will be helpful to you in your journey to the Heaven Palace. Farewell. The two of them left without staying any longer. After Ning Fan made sure that there was nothing unusual in the jade slip, he scanned it with his spirit sense. His expression changed. The greedy wolf Star Lord entered the Heaven Palace 5,000 years ago. The destruction of the southern prison had already shocked countless sea beasts. However, the most shocking thing was the appearance of the 2 Star Lords from the alien sea. 2 Void Refinement Realm Experts. They were true Void Refinement Realm experts. However, when facing Ning Fan, he actually showed weakness and befriended him. As a member of the Ghost Head clan in the army-destroying sea area, Guo Chen understood the ruthlessness of that Star Lord Pajun the most. Although he was dressed in a scholarly hat and looked refined, he had eaten tens of millions of sea beasts in order to break through to the Void Refinement realm. Despite being such a ruthless person, he showed weakness to Ning Fan and befriended him. All of this made Guo Chen feel incredulous. My new master, Ning Fan, is actually such a ruthless person who hides his strength well. How can he make the Void Refinement Realm Star Lord be afraid of him? Ning Fan kept the jade slip and looked at the 2 Star Lords who were leaving with a thoughtful look. That 7-killing Star Lord has shown off his abilities. There's no need to worry about him. However, that Pajun is a formidable figure. Just now, he used some kind of secret technique that actually made the rogue devil in my body sense. He must have realized that I have a rogue devil in my body. That's why he retreated in fear. Otherwise, he might have killed me. Kuan-mo. I wonder what kind of expression you will have when you find out that I'm going to kill you. Will you be afraid? Chapter 309. One after another, forces died in the southern dungeon. The sea beast kingdom that used to be famous for its abundance of sea spirit fruits was reduced to nothingness within a day. The only things that could bear witness to this period of history were the white bones and the horrifying palm print that shattered the Nanlao prefecture. The 2 great Star Lords appeared in the southern prison, but in the end, they did not stop Ning Fan's massacre in the Star Ocean. Tacit approval. The 2 great Star Lords had tacitly approved all of Ning Fan's actions. Within Kunli Palace, a bald man was restless. It was Kuan-mo gone, all gone. Big brother Star Dragon and second brother Whale Demon didn't come to help at all. Third brother Yuan Fang also led the Sea Ape army to retreat. Moreover, the forces of the Li Kun Palace had fallen apart because they were too afraid of Ning Fan's impending arrival. The current Kuan-mo no longer trusted anyone. Anyone could behead him to please Ning Fan. The situation had been reversed. He had given the order to kill Ning Fan twice. Now that the throne had changed, it was Ning Fan's turn to hunt him down. No, I haven't lost yet. As long as I consume the remaining 2 types of goo, even if I am a true Void Refinement Realm expert, I will definitely be able to. There must be something. A wisp of purple smoke slowly drifted into the Li Kun Palace without anyone noticing. Perhaps someone had seen the smoke but did not dare to stop it. Ning Fan appeared in the Li Kun Palace with Shi Ran in his arms. We meet again, Kuan-mo. However, it seems that you are not the one chasing after me now. Instead, I am the one chasing after you, Liu Bei. How could you enter Li Kun Palace so easily? I still have 1,000,000 demon soldiers. I will never let you. Kuan-mo's expression seemed to be panicking, but halfway through his words, his eyes suddenly turned cold. He crushed a red and crystalline goo worm and immediately flapped his Kuan-peng wings to escape 90,000 kilometers away. Blood crystal goo. One of the 3 strongest goo of demon Kuan. Be careful, once you're poisoned, Shi Ran hurriedly reminded. However, before she could finish her words, a trace of blood had already flickered in the air at a strange speed and approached Ning Fan. Don't be afraid. There is still 1 more day before my ancestral blood completely burns out. Withdraw. Ning Fan did not even lift his eyelids in the face of this bloodline. He bent his finger and pointed it at the red line at lightning speed. A trace of void energy formed a black line on his fingertip, binding the bloodline. Immediately, the bloodline trembled in pain and turned back into a red translucent goo insect. The small goo insect's expression was one of fear. The evil cold goo is enough for my immortal will to break through to the peak of the soul formation stage. Now that I have obtained this blood crystal goo and Kuan-mo's 3rd goo worm, I wonder if my divine sense can break through to half-step void refinement realm. Do you want to run? Ning Fan hugged Shiran tightly. With a sway of his body, he had already reappeared 100,000 li away. After traveling for 9 million li, he suddenly halted his footsteps. Even though he moved later, he was able to catch up to Kun Mo first. He sent out a palm strike. Just as Kun Mo's pitch-black traveling light arrived at that place, Ning Fan's palm struck his body. Kun Mo staggered and almost fell. He retreated dozens of steps before stabilizing himself. However, his expression changed greatly. How can your speed be so fast? Once the blood crystal goo succeeds, you won't be able to escape. Could it be that the blood crystal goo failed? You took the blood crystal goo. This was impossible. Even Void Refinement Realm experts. Before Kun Mo could finish his words, he launched another sneak attack. He bent his finger and shot out a ray of pale yellow light. Then, he tried to escape again. This pale yellow light was Kun Mo's third goo, Damage Brightness goo. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with impatience. He did not want to be entangled with Kun Mo anymore. He sent out a palm strike and a palm imprint made of black flames appeared in the air and struck Kun Mo's chest. Under this palm strike, Kun Mo coughed out several mouthfuls of black blood and fell limply to the ground. His immortal veins were already destroyed and he kept coughing out blood. As for that poisonous insect which was glowing with pale yellow light, Ning Fan flicked his sleeve and easily caught it in his hand. Void Refinement Realm. I see. You ignited your ancestral blood and your cultivation base rose to the Void Refinement Realm within a short period of time. Ha! So you're just borrowing the power of others to wash the sea of stars with blood. Liu Bei, you're just so. Kun Mo's words were enough to poke the pride of many people. However, Ning Fan was not moved at all. In his world, there was only victory and defeat. The methods used were not important. Besides, this ancestral blood was also obtained by him after he killed Venerable Dragon Burial and consumed it. How could it not be considered as his own strength? Shiran was unconvinced. She hated people like Kun Mo the most who always regarded others' hard work as fortune. Shiran had witnessed the chaos of the Sea of Stars from the beginning to the end. She believed that any other old monster who had the same fortune as Ning Fan would not be able to do better than him. At least, Kun Mo could not kill Venerable Dragon Burial and obtain the ancestral blood. At least, even if Kun Mo obtained 2 drops of ancestral blood, he would not be willing to ignite his blood. At the very least, even if Kun Mo ignited his blood, he would not be able to imitate a void fragmentation realm technique and destroy the southern prison with a single palm strike. Even if Kun Mo did all of the above, he would certainly not be able to intimidate the 2 Star Lords. Perhaps he would only end up being killed. It was just like how Old Bear failed to break through the Ghost Xiong Pass after it had existed for so many years. Who else could forcefully break through the pass like Ning Fan? Shiran was very unconvinced. She wanted to reason with Kun Mo and convince him that Ning Fan could only reach this stage with his own hard work. Liu Bei, let go of me. I want to quarrel with him. Shiran gently broke free from his embrace. At this moment, Kun Mo suddenly got up from the ground and flicked his finger. A dark blue line flashed and approached Shiran's chest. He still had the 4th goo. He was going to die but he was not convinced. He wanted to take revenge on Ning Fan. He wanted to destroy Shiran and Ning Fan's woman. This goo is called the Waning Spring goo. Those who are afflicted with it will not live longer than a spring. What? Kun Mo's eyes widened. All of his complacency turned into unwillingness. 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 Just as the goo was about to reach Shiran, Ning Fan was already prepared for it. He flicked his sleeve and kept it in his palm. Then, he looked at Kun Mo with a mocking expression. Your sneak attack is really clumsy, damn it. Liu Bei, kill me with your sword if you have the guts. If I kill you, won't I be afflicted with the 5th goo as well? Ning Fan revealed a mocking expression. The purple star in his left eye flashed and he had already seen through the poison inside Kun Mo's body. There was another goo hidden inside Kun Mo's body which was connected to his life. This goo was called the life goo. Once Kun Mo dies, he would kill all his enemies within 10,000 li. The moment Kun Mo fled, he already knew that he could not escape from Ning Fan. Therefore, he kept using the second goo and the third goo to sneak attack Ning Fan. In the end, as if he was struggling on his deathbed, he used the fourth goo. Everything he did was to make Ning Fan careless. He wanted to provoke Ning Fan to get close to him and kill him, thereby activating the power of the fifth goo. Kun Mo had already attached his demon soul to the life goo. Once his physical body dies, the life goo would be activated and he would be able to escape with his demon soul. As for Ning Fan, he would certainly die. His plan was not bad. In Kun Mo's opinion, anyone who destroys the star sea would inevitably become arrogant and complacent. At this moment, it was the easiest for one to be careless and scheme. However, Kun Mo did not expect that Ning Fan was a quick-witted person. He was always the one who schemed against others. Since when did he ever get schemed against by others? Another palm strike broke all of Kun Mo's muscles and bones. Then, Ning Fan carried She ran and moved 10,000 li away with a single step. You can die now. Boom, the palm imprint fell and 100,000 li was flattened. I'm not willing. I'm not willing. Kun Mo's face was filled with unwillingness. Under the terrifying palm imprint, he could not even escape from his demon soul. He let out a miserable shriek and died in the ruins. At the same place, a pitch-black goo thread immediately spread across 10,000 li, tearing everything apart. Of course, it was the doing of the life goo. She ran was dumbfounded. So scary. He actually has the fourth and fifth goo. I didn't even know about it. Recalling how she wanted to reason with Kun Mo when he was already paralyzed, She ran immediately blushed. Ning Fan could not help but laugh. If She ran could see through Kun Mo's scheme even though she was inexperienced, then Kun Mo's life would be in vain. Next time, remember to never trust your enemies. Then, should I trust you or not? She ran's face turned red. As soon as she asked this question, she did not know why her cheeks turned red. Throughout the journey of killing, every single time was filled with fear and trepidation. The little girl's feelings for Ning Fan were no longer ordinary even though she did not know what kind of feeling she had for him was. However, at this moment, she was a little reluctant to leave Ning Fan's embrace. However, it seemed like she no longer had a reason to hide in his embrace. During the battle in the southern prison, Ning Fan's devil prestige had frightened all the forces in the Star Ocean. Now that Kun Mo is dead, perhaps no one would dare to offend him anymore. There should not be any danger anymore. Thus, Ning Fan naturally did not need to protect She ran every day. You already trust me. Ning Fan sighed with emotion. If it's him, he would certainly not be so kind as to take the initiative to awaken his enemy's medicine soul. After thinking about it carefully, Ning Fan could not help but sigh at the mysteriousness of karma. If he did not save She ran, she would not have the chance to awaken his medicine soul and she would not have told him the secret of the star tempering purple Zoisha. When there is a cause, there is bound to be an effect. The two words karma were actually included in the cycle of samsara. Samsara. This kind of power is really terrifying. With Ning Fan's current cultivation base, he could only use the power of samsara to comprehend and display the wind-snow technique. Any further comprehension was not something he could achieve with his current strength. If he could completely master the power of samsara, he would be able to make all the immortals in the entire star region lose their memories and be buried in samsara, just like ringing the samsara bell. Perhaps, only by becoming an existence like Purple Dipper can I subdue heaven and earth and live a peaceful life, Ning Fan muttered to himself. She ran was destined not to understand his words. The life goo and goo worms gradually calmed down. Ning Fan carried She ran and descended 10,000 li. With a wave of his hand, he kept the life Gu and Kun Mo's storage pouch. In less than a month, Ning Fan had killed 10 million pill beasts, 90,000 nascent soul beasts and 500 wild beasts. The Sea of Stars was already deeply afraid of Ning Fan's terrifying strength. At this moment, even if there was a huge temptation to make the beasts chase after Ning Fan, no one would be blind anymore. Moreover, there were even some forces that tried to please Ning Fan and respected him as the new, greedy wolf Star Lord, alongside the other two Star Lords. Ning Fan was not aware of these things. Even if he knew, he did not care about empty titles. Instead, he cared more about actual benefits. With the 5 types of Gu, it was not difficult for his spirit sense to break through to the half-step void refinement realm. 100,000 gold core realm Dao fruits, 900 nascent soul realm Dao fruits, 7 divine transformation realm Dao fruits and the massive amount of demon power that he had accumulated after devouring countless amounts of demon blood. Ning Fan did not refine this amount of demon power. If he does, he did not know how much his cultivation base would improve. Perhaps, it would be enough for him to break through to the mid-divine transformation realm. 1 million tufts of 1,000 years old spiritual herbs, 70,000 tufts of 10,000 years old spiritual herbs and 1,200 tufts of 50,000 years old and above spiritual herbs. With so many pills, as long as he improves his pill refinement mastery, he could do a lot of things. The army of the demon army would arrive soon. At that time, Ning Fan would completely subdue the Li Kun Palace. This was the force that Kun Mo had been managing for many years. Even if the tree falls, the monkeys will scatter. It was still a big piece of meat. If Ning Fan does not take it, many forces would be more than happy to take it from him. Naturally, the remaining 3 sacred demons would certainly not dare to attack the Star Island anymore. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn as he held a token that was as translucent as jade in his hand. The Gu King's token. This token was Kun Mo's fortune. It allowed him to climb step by step from a small winged demon to where he was today. This token could easily neutralize Gu poison. Other than that, it seemed to be able to easily cure other poisons as well. Does this mean that if I refine this token into my body, I will be immune to all poisons? Ning Fan's eyes flashed. This was definitely an unexpected gain. Are we going back now? Why don't we stay for a few more days? Shi Ran pleaded with Ning Fan with a soft voice. She was really reluctant to part with Ning Fan on this journey. I'm afraid we still have to stay for a few more days. After I completely subdue the Li Kun Palace, I still need to deal with these forces that have surrendered. They are star spirits. We can't bring them out of this world. How should we deal with them? It will be troublesome. It would be great if we can bring them away. This is a huge force. Ning Fan suddenly paused halfway through his words as if he had seen something unbelievable. Without saying anything else, he carried Shi Ran and flew away with all his might. In just half a breath's time, a strong tearing force came from the place where he had just escaped. The vast sky of 1 million li was shattered. An endless void storm swept across the place. The level of this void storm was probably enough to tear a void fragmentation realm old monster into pieces. It was definitely not on the same level as the void storm that Wei Xian had destroyed in the past. In the middle of that storm, a beast corpse that was 100,000 zhang in size flew out of the void. As the beast corpse fell from the sky, a lady whose entire body was stained with blood fell from the sky. Her face was completely pale. She had already lost consciousness. What level is this ferocious beast? Ning Fan took a deep breath. Even though this ferocious beast was already dead, its powerful qi was enough to make void fragmentation realm old monsters shudder, let alone Ning Fan. This is a realm beast. Someone actually killed a realm beast. Is it that woman? Shi Ran pursed her lips and revealed a look of disbelief. Should we save her? Looking at the beautiful lady who had fallen into the sea along with the realm beast, Shi Ran's heart was moved. Of course, she had learned her lesson. It was still up to Ning Fan to decide whether to save her or not. You want me to save her? Ning Fan wore a strange expression. Even though he did not know how strong a realm beast was, he was afraid that even ordinary immortals would not be a match for it. A woman who could kill a realm beast must be a true immortal realm expert. Was he supposed to save an expert whose friend or foe was unknown? Once this woman wakes up, would she immediately kill him? Ning Fan would not do such a foolish thing to save someone. Moreover, she was a powerful enemy. If he were to kill her, it would be a waste. Besides, he might even get into great trouble. Capturing this woman and plucking her to keep her as a human cauldron seemed like a good idea. However, he would not even dare to pluck a woman of this level even if she was lying down and offered herself to him. If he plucked a woman of this level, his body would immediately explode. He could neither kill nor keep her alive. This kind of useless woman would only bring him trouble. Let's go. Ning Fan glanced around and shook his head. He did not want to get into trouble. The most rational thing to do was to leave immediately to avoid getting himself into trouble. However, just as he was about to leave, his eyes suddenly turned serious. There was a red jade ring on the tip of the beautiful lady's finger. It was exactly the same as his Yuanyao jade. Yuanyao jade. Isn't this jade something that only the 4 ladies of the Lost World Palace have? Why does she have it? Could she be Bei Xiaoman's elder sister? Ning Fan hesitated. If it's a stranger, he could just leave. However, it's Bei Xiaoman. Besides, he had quite a good impression of the 3rd lady of the Lost World Palace, Bei Li. That lady had helped him a lot in passing the 3 mortal severance steps. In the future, I'm destined to ascend to the northern heaven and I will certainly have dealings with the Lost World Palace. If I save this lady, it might be of great help to me after I ascend. Just save her. Why are you hesitating? This lady has one of the 7 spirit bodies. It will be very beneficial for you to improve your yin-yang transformations last 7 heavens cultivation technique. A faint voice came from the yin-yang locket. It was Luoyu. Her words were teasing and not serious. However, after teasing him, she immediately became serious. Her tone was cold and her usual lazy and unruly manner was completely different. I know this lady. Even though we had some unpleasantness in the past, if it wasn't for her help, I would have been killed by someone in the Lost World Palace. Consider it as the first favor you've done for me. Save her. All right. Ning Fan no longer hesitated. He returned to the void storm in a ray of traveling light. He patted his storage pouch and took out the Eastern Ocean bell. With the Eastern Ocean bell on top of his head, he caught the beautiful lady who had fallen and fainted. Hugging a young lady on your left and a beautiful lady on your right. You're really lucky with women. Seeing that Ning Fan had saved the beautiful lady, Luoyu heaved a sigh of relief and began to tease him again. Lucky with women, huh? Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Ning Fan had always believed that there were some women in this world that he should never touch. This beautiful lady must be one of them. However, for the sake of Bei Xiaoman, Bei Li and Luoyu, he really could not stand by and watch her die. The first 2 of them were just acquaintances while the last one was the person who had saved Ning Fan several times when he was in trouble. Ning Fan had to give her face. Even if he gets into trouble after saving this lady, he would certainly not die with Luoyu around. Trouble might be a fortuitous encounter. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.